And we are live. Let's get Charles and man DL saying welcome. I really want to know podcast late night edition. Late night. Sorry, I missed the normal slide, y'all. I was out and about. I had to do some things. A friend of mine hit me up, and he has a dance studio. Well, rents out time at a dance studio. And what he's doing is actually real cool. He has a partner, and she's like both of them are really good dancers. Like I mean, almost professional grade. Like they are really good dancers. And two black people. They're really good at the Latin world, in the Latin world, like salsa, merengue, bachata, all that. They're really good at that. Some other dances. And they're doing they're creating a ballroom hybrid for our community. So it's not salsa, but it's like they're creating structured steps and turns and moves, and it's just pretty cool. And it's not like stepping. You know what I mean? Like, you have like the fast dance, the stepping thing that you'll find up in like the Midwest and then into the Northeast. It's not like that, but it's not like salsa either. It's a hybrid. It's pretty cool. So he's like, hey man, we got this class going on and got a lot of women coming, but I can't get any guys to come. Like, do me a solid pull up. I'm like, all right, bet I'll pull up. We're not doing our comedy show weekly anymore. So I was like, oh, I just happen to have Tuesday free. So I went to support. You should always try to support your folks, you know what I mean, if they need help for something, if they're trying to do something. So I did that. And we're gonna talk about the dating game, and we're gonna talk about how the dating game has changed drastically, at least from my perspective. I'm a dude in my 50s. I know what it used to be like, and I know what it is right now, and I can see where it's going. And we're gonna talk about that. So I know it's late, so most of you guys will be watching Team Replay, but for those who are here up late with me, I appreciate you. Let's get at it. And we are live. What's good, y'all? Welcome to the I Really Want to Know podcast, y'all. Get some indeed. Yeah, that's what's up, man. So before I get into this, I made a statement in one of my videos. I think my live yesterday or the day before yesterday. I think it was yesterday's live. I made a statement about YouTube and how the algo works, and if it seems I don't know if this is true and I can't prove it, right? Because algorithms run everything, but it's like, man, if they don't like your content, you're gonna have problems. And I'm seeing more and more large creators having issues. Um, so I put that up. I cut that into a short. I put that out yesterday, and I noticed over the past 12 hours, the past 10 to 12 hours, I've lost over 100 subs. So there's more than one way to skin a cat. Like, so the big the big YouTube channels who are in this space are having issues. You have the people like Fresh and Fit, for instance, they were demonetized. Suzette Speaks, who has nothing to do with this space, was demonetized. And it's always like over, things like Black Man Unfiltered, demonetized. So I'm like, okay. There was another dude, Tribe, Legion of Tribe, or Tribe, or Legion of something, Legion of Men, I think it is. He works within the rules. He got demonetized. He put a video out about it. And with him, it was they were trying to verify who he is, and then kind of ran him around, and his channel went from being like suspended to permanently demonetized, and now he has to wait. It's a video. I'll probably do a short. I'll probably do something on that too as well. So, it's just like, hey, whatever. It is what it is. And I just noticed that. So with someone as small as me, like I started the day with about 1,810 or 15 subs or something like that. It actually was going up. And right now, last time I checked, it's like 1,690 something. So it's going down like it's like crazy. And it's like, again, all this has happened over the past let's say 8 to 12 hours. I was just kind of looking at it like, whoo. Now, I put shorts out there and, people were commenting or whatever, but I've never had a swing like that. That many in one day, either up or down. I've never had it. Normally it's like, a few here, maybe 10 or 15 there, either way, another 5 or 6, either way. This is the first time it was just like, woof. So I'm just curious. And to kill this channel, all you got to do is get it under 1,000 subscribers, and you no longer qualify for the partner program. So that's bam, you're demonetized. Which this platform doesn't generate a lot of money. I do it for fun. I'm just kind of learning how this works. So it is what it is. But I'm gonna keep my eye on it. You know what I mean? And that's what I suspect is going to happen. Is just I think the subs will fall off until it's below 1,000, and then they'll say, hey, if you don't get over 1,000 in X amount of time, you can't be a part of the partner program. That's what I think is gonna happen. Um, and if it does, it does. It is what it is. I don't need to be monetized. I'll just do what I do. Maybe switch it up instead of going live. I will probably um edit videos, kind of like the one we're about to watch here. You just kind of do that and put them up there and see what happened. Um, and in my live, I'll go live on Rumble. I'll just move over to Rumble and just do live stuff there. Again, I'm not a huge fan of Rumble, but where else are you going to go? And my biggest issue with Rumble is I don't mind the people saying crazy stuff, but you can't find them. It's just, we'll talk about that when we get to Rumble. But yeah, it is what it is. I just noticed it today. Like, I'm down at least, I think it's a little over 100 subscribers today. And every time I look at it, it's like down even further. But it's like, yo, that's crazy. Brother Smeeb was in the building. What's good? Good. What's good? Good day. Good day. Good day. Yeah, this is a late one for me, bro. I was chilling, helping out some friends. Remember, on Tuesdays we were doing the comedy show, but we're making some changes with that. I don't think we're going to continue to do it weekly. I'm gonna check in with my guy and see what he wants to do. We might continue weekly. We might go bi-weekly. We might go monthly. But tonight we didn't do a show. But we're gonna look into it. But yeah, so it's a late one for me, and we're gonna talk about the dating game, man. Like I like to go out to people watch when it comes to the dating world. Again, I'm an old guy. My focus is my daughter. I don't really care too much about meeting someone and doing all that. I don't care. And when I go out, what I'm seeing is I always just say it's not premium. You feel me? When I go out and I'm kicking it somewhere, like the women that I'm seeing out there, it's not premium, bro. Um, a lot of women are mimicking what they see on social media, what they see in videos, and it's a lot of hypersexual clothing and bombastic attitudes, and it's crazy. And that's it's not just my bubble as a black person in America. I'm seeing it with not just blacks. I'm seeing it with the black and brown community as well. I'm seeing it there a little bit, not as drastic, but I'm seeing it. Anyone who's in the hip hop world, no matter what background they come from, are kind of doing it with the dress and the attitudes. And man, I'm telling you, bro, like I sit back and watch. I'm not even really trying to engage, but I'm an old dude. My focus is, taking care of my child. The next 4 years are critical. My child's getting ready for high school. So I didn't really think much of it, but there's a video we're about to watch, and this is from Dating Right. It's a YouTube channel. Definitely go. I'll link this in the description below. Make sure you go over there and support this brother over there. And he has a video where it talks about single women who are getting rejected multiple times by confident men. You know what I mean? It is what it is. Hey, Sister Ashley's in the building. What's good? Says what's good. Not your everyday Ashley. What's good, girl? We got to do a show. I got to get you over here. We got to talk. We got to talk. I would love to have you on and just, last time we saw each other in these YouTube streets, you guys, what's his name? Playing with Fire. I forget the brother's name, was debating the purple pill. Oh man. Oh man. What a show that was. I thought that was so funny. I thought that was so funny, but it's good to see you, sis. I'm glad you're here. Yeah, and I was just saying I spoke up and said some things about YouTube. I put a short out about YouTube, and I was talking about how YouTube is pushing content creators over to Rumble and whatever. Like, I believe that they're running an algorithm that's kind of weeding out certain content. And as soon as I put that out, like today, over the past 8 to 12 hours, I've lost over 100 subs. I'm not even a big channel. Like, and it's still dropping. Like, it is still dropping, sis. Like rocked. I'm like, ooh, I will probably be on Rumble here really soon. It is what it is, and I will definitely let you know, sis. Um, yeah, I'll hit you up. We'll definitely talk about it. Because I would just love, as far as topics, I would love to just freestyle with you and see what's going on. She was like, "Yeah, that was trash. Yeah, that show was something, girl. That I was sitting there just like, wow, that show was something." And she's like, "Damn, yeah, that algo man's doing what it's doing." Um, for people in this space. So, but it kind of ties into what we're going to be talking about. How the dating world has changed, and a lot of women are starting to notice. They're starting to take notice, and they're kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place, and they don't know what to do. Whereas more and more guys are finding themselves in this part of the internet, this part of YouTube. Um, you know, you want to call it male improvement, the manosphere, red pill, whatever you want to call it. There are a lot of guys coming over here and they are adjusting accordingly. So they're doing what they do. And it's definitely not going to, it has changed fundamentally how dating in America you know, was. And now it's kind of, we got this new norm that we're dealing with. It's like, and you're saying that Andrew Wilson shit got me down lately. Word, am I familiar with? Am I familiar with this? You're gonna have to refresh. Let me know who we're talking about. But on a Fresh and Fit show. Um, I know, I think that's the name of that guy. The Crucible, right? Andrew Wilson. I think that's the dude that does the Crucible. Am I right or wrong on that? Let me know. Um, but you know what? Shit, because I'm not. This isn't my normal time. So sisters, you ain't doing shit. I'm gonna drop the link. If you want to pop up here, come on, come on with it, and we can have a quick chat if you want. Because it's just really it's just us in here right now. Like I said, I think I made the YouTube gods mad. I am in the process of being smited. But I mean, I could be wrong. I could be dead wrong. It could just be a coincidence. Maybe one of the other shorts I put out, people didn't like. I was talking about Lizzo. I was talking about Sean Combs. I was talking about dating and how women, a lot of people put a lot of emphasis on money, and they're like, nah, that money isn't the end all to be all when it comes to dating and what women preferences are. I did all that. So without further delay, here she is right here live.
Hey, sorry, not coming up. I'm kind of like, oof, right now, but yeah.
Girl, you ain't got it's midnight in our town, girl. We on the same soil. How you been?
I've been okay. I've been better, but I've been worse. I'm hanging
Oh
in there, I
man.
guess. It's one of those things, one of those days.
One of those days. Girl, I feel you. Educate me on Andrew Wilson.
No, yeah, I don't want to talk too much about it, but yeah, you were right. You're right. The
Okay.
guy that's been on Fresh Fit lately. Anyway, I haven't streamed in like it's probably been 3 to 4 weeks now, so almost a month. I had him on my panel. We were doing a debate thing, and like he just kind of completely, I don't know, basically dickhead moved the whole thing, and then went on to talk a bunch of shit afterwards, and like whatever. I don't know. It's kind of brutal there for a couple weeks, and I'm a tough girl. Like I'm hanging in there. It's not that big a deal. It's just it kind of took the wind out of my sails for a minute, if that makes sense.
Yeah, you're certainly not a pushover. Yeah, you're
No,
certainly
not at
not a
all. Yeah,
pushover. That
yeah.
must have, yeah, it must have caught you off guard. Is probably is what I'm guessing.
It did. It caught me off guard, and then like it caused a lot of just unnecessary, ridiculous drama between me and other people that I'm tight with. So it was like a snowball effect, and on top of like just going through other shit when this is your outlet and your happy place, and then that too becomes tainted or like temporarily ruined, it just kind of takes all the wind out of your sails, if that makes sense. I don't, you know,
No, it makes sense. It absolutely does make sense. I mean, when you're building something like you said, this is our happy place in so many different ways. Like you use it the way you use it, I use it the way I use it. So you look there and it's like, oh man, I look at the subscriber count and people are commenting and engaging. It's like, oh, this is great. I'm getting close to 2,000 subscribers. I was getting real happy, and now, like I said, over the past 12 hours, I'm down to 1,690 something.
that's insane. So tell me, I only caught like the latter end of what you were saying there. Like, if in a synopsis version, like what happened?
I basically, in one of my videos, I think on one of my lives, I think it was yesterday or one of my lives, I mentioned that I like, hey, if YouTube doesn't like your content, they will suppress it. You know what I mean? Like I'm convinced of this, and I was like,
No, that's
I'm
the
naming,
facts.
yeah, and I'm naming, like bigger podcasts, and they're like, and they're not going after you for terms of a service or whatever TOS. They're getting you on other things. I still don't know why Fresh and Fit got demonetized. You know what I mean? I was like, they didn't do anything on that platform. Like, well, it was other platforms. I'm like, but still, and then there was another pretty big YouTuber. He has over 400,000 subscribers. He just lost his monetization over failing to uh verify his identity, but he did everything in a timely manner, sent it all in, and they still demonetized him and gave him a runaround. He did a real good video on it. I'm thinking about doing something on that tomorrow. So I mentioned that and I said, hey,
That's me too.
you're
That's me too. That happened to me too. That happened to me too.
wow,
That happened to me
wow.
too. Yep. In fact, I
What,
just tried again today to I don't know, enter new shit, like try to verify again. But I was monetized and then they took it away and they were like, oh, we can't verify your identity. And I'm like, what? What the fuck do you mean? Like what? So I tried again and they're like, nope, your address doesn't match this, it doesn't, and I'm like, what is this, a fucking like credit report to get like what are you
right.
talking about? And then anyways, I just got another email. They're like, we'll give you another chance to verify your identity. And I'm like, what else do you want? Like, they're like the goddamn IRS out there. And I really just truly think it's like, I don't know, because you look around and I look at some other channels that are monetized, haven't had any problems or anything so to speak of, and I'm like, I know this motherfucker like probably isn't even legal. Like, what the hell, right? Like,
Exactly. Like yeah, you're absolutely right. Like you're supposed to put in like these government IDs. Like what are they using? Like what are they using to get?
right? Like, it's like I have a job. I have a fucking security clearance at my job, and I can't get monetized. Like, what?
Yeah. Yeah. So I look at that and I mean, just to see it happen so fast, and someone with a platform as small as mine, all you have to do is get my subscriber count under 1,000 and then you can pull it. It's like, well, you don't
Yeah,
have 1,000,
yeah.
that, and it's probably easier to do that because I've noticed sometimes, have you ever gone through the people you're following and just, kind of go and you go watch a video and it's like, hold on, I subscribe to them. And it's like, you're no longer subscribed to them, but it's like, I didn't unsubscribe. And I start doing that with certain content creators. And it's like it's always, you
Dude, that's
know,
wild. I have not done that. No, I have. I mean, I will be honest. Yes, that has happened here and there, but I've never. I just think like, oh, I guess maybe did I accidentally unsubscribe? You know what I mean? But I've never
right.
gone through and really thought about it. No.
It was all when I noticed it, it was always the Manosphere guys. Like, wait, I didn't unsubscribe to Rich Cooper, but
Yep,
it's like
that's who it is. Yep.
right. So it's like a few times you do it, and it's like, Rich and I, like, we don't know each other personally, but we know each other from the YouTube trenches. So he knows me. So I'm like, all right, maybe. And then, you go to another, whatever, another page like that you follow, and it's like, I didn't unsubscribe for that. And then it's like, I'll go to Fresh and Fit, or I'll go to, like Black Man Unfiltered, or some people that I know. And I know
Yeah.
I didn't, and I know they didn't. So it's like, okay, what the hell? And I went back and I just started subscribing to the folks again.
I feel
So
like kind of ever since the whole Andrew Tate demonetization, things have kind of snowballed. I don't know if that's just the same theory as like, and forgive me, I don't know the actual term for this, but like say when a woman wants to become pregnant, all of a sudden all she notices are other pregnant women. When you want to go buy a car and you're dreaming of a red car, all of a sudden all you notice is red cars. Like, I don't know if it's that phenomena is why I'm noticing it, but I do swear to you, like, ever since the Andrew Tate thing, like, I am noticing this just step by step by step by step. It's like YouTube is becoming incredibly, like, I hate to use the term, but like it's almost like they're becoming Nazis about, the
Yeah,
content that we're able to see, and also especially the content that's able to monetize.
you're right. I mean, they are SS like in their movements. You know what I mean? I could see him wearing a nice Hugo Boss, you know what I mean, suit with some shiny black boots. You know what I mean? But it's the way they're doing it. It goes against what they say they stand for. But when you are pretty much a monopoly, which is what they are, they have no competition, really. You
Facts.
know, you can do what you want. And again, I'm not a big fan of Rumble, but I've been experimenting, putting stuff up on Rumble, and it's like, you know what? I might have to just go ahead and shift everything over
I
there.
am I am feeling like Twitter, which is now known as X, is actually really stepping up their game to become the next big contender with that. My main I wouldn't say it's an issue because I'm still not quite sure how it works because I'm fairly new, only a few months into the whole Twitter game, but the monetization and how the money and donations and things work, I feel like from participating in these spaces and like subscribing to these creators, I feel like just as like say you're a customer versus, a distributor, right? I feel like as a customer, I don't find it easy whatsoever to send funds or like donate money or things like that. And people are like, well, did you look at their tip jar or this? And I'm like, no, like it doesn't need to be this difficult. Like you need to just like YouTube does make it very easy with that little button in the corner and it's like super chat. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Twitter needs to work on the way that they kind of handle that. But one thing Twitter's doing and starting to implement, which I think is going to really change the game, is essentially like the video slash live streaming feature that YouTube does. And I think that they're definitely behind the game on that. But um I'm hoping that along with that comes more features that are more akin to YouTube and how it becomes so easy to subscribe, form a community, and also like just be like, hey, dono chat for this to say this. Right now, they give you zero incentive for any of that stuff. And it seems to be almost purely ad revenue based. But again,
Yeah.
Elon is completely like, kind of almost like, and I applaud him for this at the same time, but kind of like being like fuck you to the advertisers that want to control what content you see. So it's a double-edged sword, and I feel like it's a huge, I don't know, kind of like project in the making. But I don't know, I feel like right now is the really good time to get on X slash Twitter and start making a presence and building a community. I will say that I've met some really amazing people to even come over and cross stream and do YouTube content with that I'm getting set up. It's been well worth it in that sense.
Well, I'm gonna do it. StreamYard allows you to do that. So I'll hit X. I've my Twitter, like you said, formerly Twitter, now X profile is like extremely limited.
Mine
I've been
too,
on there a
yeah.
long time. I was just never, I was still an air traffic controller. I just didn't have time for any of this stuff. I didn't care about Twitter. But
I thought
now,
Twitter was like super boring.
yeah, but now, like you said, we can stream. I think I paid for the little premium thing so I can message people. So I think I'll go on and do what you're doing and just maybe stream when I go live, stream there, stream
Do
here,
it. Just do
and
it.
and and then on Rumble as well.
And
And
start hopping, like in your free time, start hopping and you don't have to, obviously. This is just, it's fun though, but start hopping in some like Twitter spaces and some of the really low, I don't know. It's just,
damn, look at you, woman, getting
it's,
out telling me what to do. Look at you, girl, just being a woman, being an American woman. Tell me what to do. I'm playing with you, right? Uh-oh. YouTube done attacked us, man. They done took Ashley out of here.
no,
You back,
sorry.
back? Hello?
Yeah, my internet cut out. It's been kind of, we've had some weather today, so it's been in and out.
Yeah,
I'm
on your
sorry, I missed what
side,
you
yeah,
said.
yeah, on your side, we haven't had any weather over here. I'm like close to Osmar and all that kind of stuff. So it's been pretty chill over here, but over there where you at, I'm pretty sure you get the
It's not that
Marine Drive.
bad. Just been some rain and some cloud coverage, but for some
Yeah.
reason the internet's been super spotty today, and they've been. It seems like everything at once. Like they're like the water was out today for a bit, like because they're. I don't even know what the
Damn,
fuck's
it's
going on.
crazy over there, girl. You better get on this
It's
side of town.
wild. It's wild.
Better get on this side of town. But I would just give you. I was making a joke. I was like, damn, look at you, just like an American woman telling me what to do, telling me to go,
I know.
go on the X. But I'm gonna
Well,
listen
but
to you, brother.
I've
Go ahead.
met some like super just recently too, and I've been doing this for about 3 months. But just recently, I've made about maybe 3 or 4 connections with people that are so fucking cool, and like actually like they're way. This sounds cringe to say, but like they're just maybe they have a bigger like in real life or online presence than you even knew, but Twitter is kind of like the low key place to just slide in and be anything, right? But
Yep.
I've made friends with these people, and there's about 3 or 4 of them that I'm like, wait a minute, you're who, and you do what, like, and so I'm planning some content coming up with that, and I'm like, okay, it paid off. Like it paid not, I mean, I was enjoying myself, but it genuinely paid off too. Networking.
Yeah, I mean, that's the name of the game, and all this is still so new.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna hit the chats real quick in a second, but before I do,
Yeah.
one of my I started a group here. We call ourselves the New Templars, right? And just young guys I met through the Fresh and Fit family, extended family, and we're all in the Tampa area. We meet once a month. Well, one of my nights actually got me booked to do in studio podcast with a pretty big podcast. Like he's at over 200,000 subscribers. So
Fuck
for me,
yes.
right, it'd be like huge. And I don't want to say who it is just yet. I want to make sure
Oh,
we get
yeah.
it done and then it can. But as soon as I do, girl, I want to hit you up because they're
Yes.
also local. Because we talk about networking. I want to be
Yes.
able to,
Like we're here
yes,
in Tampa. Like that's what it
yes,
seems like most of the shit popping is like on the other side of the coast of Florida,
yep,
coast of Florida. And it's like, I mean, I understand that like theoretically that's close, but it's like 5 to 6 hour drive. It's like who has time to do that when you have like work and finances and like different things? It's like, I don't know, like not every, especially like most of these bigger podcasts too, like they take dono chats to go in and do these things, right?
yep.
If YouTube's not even monetizing me, it's like I'm not gonna pay. Like even one weekend in Miami would cost me at least $1,000, at least. Oh
Yeah,
my
because you,
God,
you
did you
travel
know
like I
this?
travel.
So, like some people, well, $1,000. Think about it: gas money, hotel, food. If they want to go out, let's get drinks later, and you don't want to be like, oh no, I'm poor, I can't go. You know what I mean? Like just
Right,
different
right.
things, like networking and hobnobbing or whatever. But did you know that like Eurodite when she went on, and a lot of these I don't know if it's specifically female podcasters. I don't know, but I've only heard about with 2 female podcasters who are bigger podcasters, like Not So
Hmm.
Eurodite. They've actually paid over $1,000 to have a seat on the table at Fresh and Fit.
Really? Well,
That blew my mind. I was like, wow,
I
I didn't
don't
even know. I don't blame Fresh and Fit for doing that. That's just
well, I don't
the
know
name
how
of the
true
game,
that
but it's
is.
crazy.
I don't, because Myron and Fresh are real transparent, and they're personal friends. I've never asked the question though. I've never asked, but I mean, I would do it.
Yeah, exactly. Like at this source, and it wasn't said in a way to shame Fresh and Fit. It wasn't said in a way to that. It was just so the gist of the story was like, yeah, and when Eurodite went on, like the director, whatever, whoever it is behind the camera, he was like, all right, you're gonna sit here, you're gonna sit here. And they were like, and he had Eurodite sitting over here, but it was like almost out of frame of the camera. And this is just the story, somebody that was there with her, and he was like, and I'll give to Eurodite because she was like, no, I paid like, and I think it was somewhere around 1,500 to 1,200, something like that. I paid, X amount of dollars to be here. You're going to sit me in view with a camera. And rightly so, right? Like, I'm not one
Yeah,
of these OnlyFans models that you just have here to like make fun of. Like, I paid to be here. Like, you're going to give me a good seat. And so the context of the story and who it was telling it kind of leads me to believe it's true, but it is hearsay, and I do not have proof of that.
right. And like I said, Myron and Fresh are very transparent. Like you can ask them, they'll tell you. But and
Oh
again,
yeah,
and they
yeah.
don't handle they don't handle the whole wrangling of the guests, especially with the women. They handle the, you know, like the daytime shows and the big guests, of course. You know, Fresh is all over that. But it's just wrangling the women. I ain't gonna lie to you, I would take it.
I would
Especially with a
too.
platform like that.
Well, and then I think about even recently with Andrew Wilson going on there and the amount of money that he was raising from his, and I'm not shaming him for the, again, I'm just talking about things candidly. I'm not casting judgment. I'm with you. If I could and I had the means, I would, right? Like why not? But the amount of money that was being raised and then blah blah blah, it just leads me to believe that yeah, there is definitely like, especially for other content creators up and coming or wanting to debate, etc. I think that there is like a monetary value placed to that in order to have a space or a place on the panel. And then from there it's kind of like, this is my mind going, but probably logistics, like, well, how good were the views, what was the content, like what was the audience engagement like, et cetera, and then kind of go from there. But yeah, to initially get on there not being one of the ones they can capitalize off of per se, it makes sense. It's just business.
It's just business, and I want to go on a
Yeah.
record again because people look at me because again I do have a personal relationship with Myron and Fresh and the whole fam. To my knowledge, that does not go on. Now, I never asked the question either. And I want to say this too for anyone for all 5 people out there watching. Appreciate y'all. I want to say this as well.
You're so
Uh,
funny.
I want to say this as well. Um, Myron and Fresh do not handle that part of the operation as far as wrangling folks. So if someone is out there and is like, hey, we got enough, we got our people for the show, and someone was like, hey, it's like running, like the door guy. If you door guy, like you can slide the door guy a little bit and he'll let you on.
Yes.
Something like that. Like, cause like, trust me, I done greased some palms in my day, no diddy. I done greased some palms to get into a club. You know what I mean? I want to catch up the chats real quick. And girl, I'm so glad we got the opportunity to jump on this.
Me
And there's one thing I want to
too.
say. Yeah, and there's something I want to tell you. I don't know if you know about this on the other side of this chat. Don't let me forget. Brother Smeebles, all the way out in Australia, like you were talking when we were talking about X. Well, no, we're talking about YouTube and what they're doing, the sneakiness of YouTube. They've gotten smarter to stuff. Brother Smith was talking about that. He was like, control is power. And YouTube has all the control right now using AdSense. And that's another thing they do. They will blame AdSense for something like, well, AdSense said you need to do this and that. Hey, we don't control AdSense. We're just reading the script, telling you what they need. But I've already done it. I've turned this in, and you get demonetized or whatever. It is what it is. And Brother Smith was also continues. Twitter probably they probably don't have access to the payment systems because they don't want them to. So they probably have to design their own payment system. And that's kind of what you were saying, Ash. They just haven't gotten around to the systems part of it so they can make it easy so people could get donations or whatever they need on X over there. And then Brother Pitney's in the building. What's good, Pitney? Brother Pitney Jules, man, shout out to you, bro. So glad you're here. Like your Freshman Fit don't pay the women to make appearances, right? No, and we were saying women were paying the Wranglers possibly to get on the Fresh and Fit show. That's what we were talking about. Sister Ashley was saying that she, rumor has it that she has it from someone that she knows, that they were saying, hey, I paid X amount of dollars so I can get on that show as a female, because I mean, that's a huge move if you know what to do with it. And we were kind of going back and forth. So I was saying, I don't know about that, but I've never asked. The girls might receive compensation by promoting their platforms like OF or others for online presence.
Yeah,
But
those girls definitely do. Yeah.
they're not compensated. And we know that. And the rumor is, and I don't know this to be true or not, but whatever podcast on the West Coast of the country, out there in Santa Barbara, there's a rumor that dude Brian was charging up to $10,000 to have you on his show as the primary guest. I don't know if that's true or not. I guess I shouldn't say it. I guess I shouldn't say it.
No, well, whatever. You're prefacing with, it's a rumor. I am not saying this happened. This is what I've heard. All I'm saying is that it would not surprise me. None of this stuff surprises me anymore the more I hear about it,
Right.
And
And
I'm not degrading it or downing anybody. Like, hey, fucking make your money, playa. I don't care.
exactly.
Yeah,
I ain't knocking nobody's
exactly.
hustle. And Brother Smeebles is saying Chris has a team of like 5 people under him to source. They go to the clubs and stuff like that. So yeah, to source for the show. So who knows? Yeah, but I will tell you this, and especially for you, Sister Ashley, I will reach out to Myron and Fresh and just give them like, hey man, this is what I heard. This is what I was told from someone I'm cool with up here in Central Florida. Just want to give you the information, bro. And
Yeah,
let
for
them do
sure.
with it
Because
what they
I'm
do.
curious if that's true. And again, it was a story told like that part of the story was just in passing. The whole story was about something else, and it was like she was like, no, I want to sit in camera because I paid blah 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 dollars to do this, and then the story went on, and I was sitting there like, wait, what? Like, that's, you know what I'm saying, the point of the story was not that, nor was that elaborated on. So it was almost as if that was just like, yeah, common knowledge, and I was just kind of taken aback.
Yeah, especially with the demonetization aspect to that. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah.
If I were the consigliere, let's say, of Myron and Fresh, and they say, hey, yo, Uncle Saint, we thinking about, taking money from some of these women who want to get on the platform to so they can make money on the back end, I would say, why not? You got someone who's willing to pay you X amount of dollars to sit at that table, right? Just
Yeah.
to
Well,
contribute to the show.
to clarify, this, so also, so part of it was like, part of what supposedly, this is hearsay, part of what Eurydice said was like, I paid X amount of dollars to be here. I want to be sitting like front and center with the camera in a good position, blah, blah, blah. I'm not one of these OnlyFans girls that you brought up off the street to make fun of. So,
Right.
meaning that like she was a paid guest, not a free guest. And I'm assuming that there is a difference based off of that comment between the two. This is all based off of the story I was told, that honestly, the point of it not being Eurydice paying to be on panel.
Right.
Does
And
that
I'll
make
get to the
sense?
bottom of it.
Yeah.
It does make sense. And again, we're trying to, make sense of something that was said in passing or whatever, trying to make it make sense.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. And I would say that Myron and Fresh would not accept money. I ain't gonna lie, I would say that because they haven't been, and it's just, and it is what it is. But I'm just gonna put it out there for you. So the thing I wanted to say to you, did you know that there is a studio, a podcast studio rental establishment here in Tampa?
Okay, so I did know that, and I only knew that through, do you know who Angela Knight is?
Yeah, yes, I know. Yeah, I know who she
Yeah,
is.
and
I haven't met her.
Angie and I, yeah, her and I went out for like, we've gone out a couple times. We went out for drinks, and we went out for like, we went makeup shopping at like, we just girls' day, We went
I'm
to
just saying, why
Target.
why
Like,
you why you hit up Uncle Saint? I'll go out, hang out with you, y'all. I'm
I
here.
love
Why can't I
Angie.
go?
She's amazing. But she's since, like, just at least for the time being, not podcasting or anything right now. But there for a minute, her and I were very briefly and not at all officially talking about like how fun or funny or cool would it be to like do X, Y, and Z idea, here in Tampa. And she was like, there is studio space available for rent, but we never really took the conversation further than that. And that's as much as I know about that.
Well, when you guys are ready, let me know because I will definitely throw my pennies in with you guys, and I would love to work with you guys and
I
kind of
wish,
be.
but I think Angie's out. I think
She'll be back.
she's,
She'll be back.
I,
She's just
I
tired of
hope
it.
so. I thought she's fucking great at it. I think some things just kind of got at her, and I think and I don't know this firsthand, but my assumption or my perception is that she's kind of taking this time to focus on her and her man. You know what I mean? And fair enough and all good.
Yeah, and I mean, I never got an opportunity to meet her, although I was trying. I was down in Miami, always just missing her, and then I was kind of trying to reach out to you because we're up here, but we've been busy and whatever. So I never got an opportunity to actually meet her. And I know she was doing one of my favorite Saucecast episodes was the one when she was on there, and
Same.
they had what's his name?
MLD.
Yes, and
That
I ain't gonna
fucking
lie to
guy.
you. I'm not gonna lie. Listen, I understand the manosphere and I understand the friendships and all that, but I was like, dude, fuck that all up. I'm like, bro,
He
you
really
couldn't look
did.
weaker. Yeah, like you couldn't look weaker if you tried. And then when Saint in the center, when Marquette got a hold of his ass, oh, I was like,
Yeah.
whoa.
I'm
But
not a fan of MLD, not gonna lie. There's a few people I'm not a fan of, and I hate to say it. because he's your friend, but Myron is on my list of people that I have a lot of shit stuck in my craw over him.
Yeah, I mean,
That's a
Myra's
Southern girl term right there.
right stuck in my craw. I'm like, hey, girl, you taking it all the way up to the up to the south because we so far south. We got to take
I'm
it up
from
to
the
the south.
South, and that is just how it is.
So yeah, Myron's my guy. And here's the thing, like the guy's a stand-up dude. I don't know if you ever had a chance to interact with him in real
No,
life. And you would absolutely be shocked. A lot of this YouTube stuff is like Hollywood in the sense
an
that
act, a persona.
yes, it's you on steroids, right? So I will say that, but that's my guy. You know what I mean?
You
It is
know,
what it is.
I'm so sorry. I
No,
keep
go ahead.
like okay. I don't mean to.
No, we're fine, girl. Quit
Okay.
tripping. Yeah.
Like I've had this conversation before in a different scenario with other people, other content creators, when I was discussing doing a project with them. And to be fair to what you're saying and to who you're saying it about, I told them the exact thing in so many words. Actually in almost identical words, and I was like, "Look, it is me, but at the same time, I mean, not right now with you and I just shitting around, but like when I'm doing a panel, when I'm doing a show, when I'm
Right.
quote unquote on, right? That's me on steroids. Like it is me, but I'm like 10, 20 times, amplified. All of my best attributes, all of my worst attributes, they're going to be amplified. They're going to be played up to the audience. It's going to be what people call quote unquote polarizing.
Yep.
Otherwise, what are you? Sitting here going blah 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 blah. And those people I was talking, they were like, "So you're fake?" And I was like, "No, that's I mean,
Well, that's when I move on. If they say if
yeah.
that's their
Oh, I
comeback,
moved on.
yeah, because they're like, oh, so you fake? Like, all right, shut the hell up. But you know, what I mean, it's just one of those things. And this is a lot of people don't get it though, girl. I mean, I'm shocked at how dumb a lot of people are. Like Americans are just dumb. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
the inability to think, and it's not that they can't think; they just don't want to. Maybe dumb is not proper. Maybe it's just laziness. They're just too damn lazy to think the shit through.
Well, and like some people, I don't know, even some people just fundamentally won't get it. And it has nothing to do with IQ, intelligence, street smarts, even. It just has to do with like, I believe that there's a different, there's a big difference between like emotional intelligence, street smarts, book smarts, and also like just people smarts. Some people don't know how to, I guess, charm the crowd or work people. And I
Right.
don't mean that in a bad way. Like I just
Well,
mean
they
like
can't read the room.
you're an
That's not even a bad
entertainer.
way.
Yeah, read a
Yeah,
room.
they
There you
can't read the room.
go. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a stand-up
Yeah,
comedian. If you can't read the room, you can't be funny. I'm sorry. If you
exactly.
can't probe the room and see what type of material they're gonna warm up to, it's gonna be a long night. You know what I mean? That's the same thing in
Yes.
podcasting. Same thing here.
Yes.
Same thing here,
Fucking
girl.
nailed it.
Hey,
Nailed it.
man, I've been doing this a
You
long
know, I've
time.
done 2 amateur stand-up nights.
Where you did some open mics.
I have done 2 open mics during COVID. So like it was
Whoa,
like
whoa, whoa, whoa,
my
whoa, whoa.
time because
It was doing COVID. So you did like a Zoom comedy thing, or were you in?
no IRL. IRL. It was like
All
it
right.
was Oklahoma, which we're super like red state. Like it was like
I've been to Oklahoma
and
City. I've been there a couple times.
Oklahoma City. Yeah, exactly. The first time it was like an out like we were trying to do things outdoors so people were spread out more, but it was sponsored by like our local, comedy clubs and stuff like that. But I don't know why. I think it was just the being cooped up for so long, the doomsday mindset and the just like it's now or never, and also just having all of that time to like fucking work on material, write down material, think about it, just like anyway, I worked up the nerves. I microdosed
Hilarious.
mushrooms. Oh yeah.
That's where you went wrong.
No, no, it was so right. It was a microdose, like a tiny little bit of mushrooms. And I went up there and I fucking killed it. The second time,
Can
it
you see
was
my face? Can you see my face?
you weren't there though. You weren't
You're right.
there.
I have to take your word for it.
I'm gonna have to one of these days I'm gonna share my act with you. And even if you just read it, you would laugh.
I mean, I'm
And this
hearing what
shit's
you're
all
saying.
from real life experiences, exaggerated real life experiences.
As an old school comedian who's been a comedian for over 20 years, when I hear, and it's possible because the first time I ever did stand up, the first time I did open mic, I got a standing ovation, but it's not because my material was that great. It's because of the crowd that walked in here. So when people tell me the first time I went on stage and I did stand up, I crushed, the thing that comes to my mind is this.
I didn't know they stacked shit that high.
Because I'm like, you lying. You lying,
So,
girl.
well, you didn't let me get to the second time.
Okay.
Yeah, the second time, not so much. The second time went way worse. It wasn't awful, but it wasn't great. But there was something magical about that first time I did it. And I want to experience that again, genuinely. And I haven't, I don't know, like I moved from the city and I've been doing different things and I don't feel like I know the landscape, the audience, the people that much. And I've lost my nerve, you know?
Whatever, because I mean, whenever you're ready, girl, I do stand up here. We just had a show. We did a show. We brought a guy out from LA.
Invite me to a show. I
Whenever
would
you want to go
love
out.
that. I want to go out
Yeah.
always.
Whenever you want to go.
I want to go out yesterday.
Yeah.
I'm dead ass.
Well, if you really, every Thursday night at the Funny Bone, used to be the Improv in Ybor, there's open mic. You want to go down there? I can make sure you get. I can make sure you get on stage. I can make sure you get on stage. And
I want to watch.
Coconut.
I want to watch the first time.
Oh, that's fine. You come in.
Yeah,
just have a good time.
I want to
and
come check it out. Again, it's been 4 years now. 4 years since I was on stage.
And I mean, yes, you never. Once you do it the first time, once you bust that cherry, girl, it's all good. You know what I mean? It ain't nothing like the first time. You'll never really have it like that again, and it becomes a series of firsts. So it's like, okay, you did your first stand up, and then the next big one will be, all right, I got my first 15 minutes done, and it was good, and then the next one will be first time I got paid, and then it keeps going like that.
Yes.
You know what I mean? But Brother
God,
Pitney,
yes.
he was saying,
love that.
and it'll be fun. I'll every Thursday there's that open mic on I think on Tuesdays there's an open mic in St. Pete Beach. Is it used to be Coconuts. It's the Sunrise Comedy Club, I think it's called now. But it used to be Coconuts. It's right there on the water. That's a really good mic. Just let me know. Like
Ybor is literally like a hop, skip, and a jump up the road from me. Like 10 minutes.
Just do Ybor. And listen, this is the first week in 3. We've been doing 3-4 months. We were doing Tuesday nights at this place in Tampa. We were doing open mics and every Tuesday and doing we were booking comics. And this was the first week we didn't do it. It's hilarious. If we'd had this conversation last week, you'd have been on stage.
All right. Next week is absolutely perfect for me. I get paid next week, so like just the ability to go out and do shit. Like,
yeah, text me Thursday night. We'll go do some. We can watch me do it. I'll do some stand up Thursday night.
I would love to do that. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm gonna brush up. I'm gonna like get my rust out, and if I feel randy and there's an opportunity, maybe I'll.
All right. I mean, it'll be fun. And Brother Penny,
sorry.
Go ahead. No. I was just gonna read the chats real quick. Brother Penny was like, apologize for the mistake. Come on, bro. You ain't gotta apologize over here, man. We fam. It's all good, man. So come on now. You day one, you ain't gotta apologize for nothing over here. And Brother Smith was saying, to be honest, if someone had to pay, let's say $5,000 to $10,000 to get in on Fresh and Fit, I believe it's still worth it for the exposure on the nighttime shows. Absolutely. I mean, yeah, I ain't gonna lie to you. That's if I had the money, if I was really trying to push a platform in social media, like YouTube especially, and if Minor Fresh are like, hey man, give us $5 grand, 10 grand, and we'll have you on the show, that would be worth the investment. I ain't gonna lie to you. That would be worth the investment. Brother Pitney was like, MLD stepped on his own Johnson. He certainly did. And then he wants to know, Brother Pitney wants to know, did you actually nail your first time? Did you actually nail it? Or did the shrooms make you think you did?
Yeah. And so here's the deal. Like, if you're not, I understand with the shroom thing, but microdosing and then actually taking shrooms are two completely different things. It's like saying in the equivalent of, let's say an alcohol drinker or a pot smoker, right? If you're, sorry, 1 second. If you're an alcohol drinker, it's like saying I had one shot and then I was like, all right, I'm good to go. If you're a pot smoker, it's like saying I had one little hit and I was like, all right, that took the edge off. It's the same with shrooms. I
All right.
microdosed. I had the tiniest little bit to relax me and like whatever, get in my zone. It's not like, oh, I was fucked up or oh, I was spacing out or seeing shapes. Like it's not at all like that. It's legitimately the equivalent of those things. And then also, I could tell the whole story. I won't bore you with it, but yes, I know I did good for many reasons. For many reasons. And I think part of it was that I was challenged extra to do very good because of this particularly bitchy chick in the crowd. And I was like, bet, and by the end of the night, she was my biggest fan and she wanted to hate me, and it was a W all the way around. And I was just, I don't know how to explain it, but it was one of those magical nights where I was like fucking on. I
I've been
was
there.
on point. Yeah, exactly.
Been there.
Everything couldn't have gone more perfect.
And that's a good
Everything
way
was
to
just
start.
right.
Because most people
Yeah,
start
but
on
the
the
second
opposite end of
time
that.
sucked.
Yeah. Most
The
people
second
start on the
time
opposite.
sucked. I'm
Yeah.
not gonna lie, and I was like,
Like, yeah. It's like,
and
where's the
maybe
other
I don't
crowd?
like this after all.
Exactly. Like, where's the other crowd? This is bullshit.
It was such a different crowd, and I was just like, and I only had the one experience to go off of, and I wasn't microdosed, and I hadn't like jived with these people for the last couple hours. Like, it was different, man. And the microdosing wasn't the thing, but it was. I'm joking, but like it was the whole like just the vibe and like the crowd.
I ain't gonna lie to you, sis. Don't be when we get together here, just go ahead, Saint, just microdose a little bit. You'll have me running from a big rooster or some
Oh
shit. Like,
no,
I'm
I
cool.
don't.
It might just be the way it hits me. You know
No.
what I mean? I might be one of those people like, hey, it's a big
That
troll
was just
chasing
one of
me.
those crazy instances. Like, don't get me wrong, I love mushrooms, but like that is not something that I even know how to get a hold of, like hardly ever anymore.
Oh,
Yeah,
I can get a hold of some. I know people. I'll
all
try
right.
it one
Well,
day.
you know
One
what
day.
else? Get me some mushrooms. Like, no, I'm kidding.
We'll
No,
talk
I'm
about this off
kidding.
camera, girl. We
Yeah,
joking for
exactly.
now. We
Text
joking
me,
for now.
text me for that. Yeah. No, but really though, like the microdosing was just it. Again, long story. It was one of those just epic days / nights during COVID, outdoors. Things were different, and it was just the perfect night. And I had the perfect set. Granted, it was only like a 10-minute set. It was very short. But it was just
That's a long time, girl.
perfection.
The average is
It
like 3 to
is.
5
Thank
minutes. 10
you.
minutes is a long
It
time.
was. It was. It was. Thank you. That's what I tried to explain, and they're like 10 minutes, and I'm like, that feels like a goddamn eternity when
Because it
you're on
is.
stage. It is. It
You know
might
how
as well
many
be
years
a
it took me
year.
to develop 10 years of material? You know how many years it took me to do that?
Well, okay, so I'm not gonna lie, like the first few minutes was like I'm very good at the crowd banter. I'm very good. I'm very sarcastic. I'm very good at coming up with shit just on the cuff. Like
Yeah,
I'll be
and that's
like,
called
oh,
crowd work, girl. Learn the terms now.
crowd
You're in the
work.
business. You're in the business. It's called crowd
Yes,
work.
I'm
You're a comic
good
now.
at crowd work. I'm very good at crowd work. So I did that for the first, I don't know, I'm guessing 2-3 minutes. And then I kind of worked it up into my set. And I was able to turn the crowd work banter into naturally just work it into my set. It was like, speaking of it, like, and I went into it. And then I have about like 2 or 3 bits that I have written out that are actually really solid. And I know they're solid. I know they are.
All right.
And now
Now I'm
then when
curious.
I
Now I got it. Now we got it. Now I got to get you on stage. Now I'm curious. Now I might even just throw a show
You can
just
tell
so
I'm
I
not
can get you up
bullshitting you,
there.
right? You can tell I'm
Yeah.
not. I know
Yeah.
what I'm
I want
talking
to see.
about.
Yeah. I want
Yeah.
to see.
I even
I
have a
want.
whole book that I read. I know the difference between like a comic and a comedian.
You're
There's a
fucking
whole
up reading
book
books,
about
girl.
this.
Don't read no books. Don't read no more books on
No,
it.
but a
Stand up.
friend of mine got it for me, and I'm a huge reader. Now, I was already into all this and doing it like just off the cuff, naturally, like fluently, whatever you want to call it. But I'm not gonna lie, like it was kind of like the difference between, say Richard Pryor and like fucking, what's his name, Ronald Glover. Like the difference between
Yeah.
like being able to tell a story and make it funny and go with it and ad lib versus I've got set quote unquote jokes that I say, but I do it.
Right.
Oh, is it hot in here? Is it just me? Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like a
Yeah.
comedian.
The term
versus
you're
a
looking
comic.
for is storytelling versus setup and punchline. And that's so good. You're gonna have to. Okay, I'm gonna take you on as my Padawan learner. You know what I mean?
Okay, I'm
Welcome to the
down.
dark side.
Yes.
Welcome to the dark side. So we got to hear the button. Welcome to the dark side, girl.
Join me and together we can rule the galaxy.
I'll get you together, girl. I'll get you together.
Yes. No, I love it. Like, I love it.
Brother Mandrill's in the building. My favorite Green Beret. What's good, fam? So since I got you here, because I wanted to talk about how the dating world has changed. I have a video queued up I was going to react to, but we have you here, and I want to be able to do I mean, I want to take advantage of having you here, and we can kind of react to
do
this. But
whatever you
before we
want
get
to
into the
do.
video,
Whatever you, yeah, do whatever. Yeah.
yeah, and it'll be great to have your input on this. But the title of the video is "Single Women Are Getting Rejected Multiple Times by Confident Men." And this video is like, women talking about their online dating experiences, dating apps and whatnot. And I started the show by talking about how I'm in my 50s, and as a guy in his 50s, I've watched this game change. Like the dating sexual marketplace has changed, and now I would say over the past 5 to 8 years with YouTube and this message getting out, it's becoming unrecognizable. What are you noticing from the female side? What are you noticing out there?
Well, I'm divorced, and that has, let's see, I've been a single woman of her 30s, almost nearing 40 now. Yeah. For over 5 years now. So I feel like I'm not quite in touch with, I guess everything that's quote unquote current. But I will say that when I was young, prior to marriage and dating versus post marriage and dating, it's like the difference of being on Earth or Tatooine, right? Like, it's like I might as well, yeah, like I might as well be on a different planet speaking an alien language, and nothing's the same. It took me a solid year to even, maybe more than a year, to even grasp the landscape of trying to online date and how people kind of like advertise themselves and gain advantages in this pseudo realistic like the pseudo realism, rather. Like it's insane. It's absolutely bizarre. I've become used to it now, and then of course I've got a lot of affiliates that are in the dating coach kind of like PUA industry, which again, I say affiliates as friends. Like I don't endorse nor do I profit off of any of their business strategies, but I am friends with them, and it's fascinating to me. I would say that the current dating landscape is a sad, sad place for multiple reasons for men and women. If I may, for a moment, I would say that from your standpoint, being just a man in general. Oh,
She's gonna change. Don't change the picture, girl.
oh God, I don't know. I was like, why am I here by myself? Don't do
I'm
that
back.
to me. I
I'm
freeze.
back. I wanted to give you the floor. I'm gonna give her.
No, it's all right. Give me the floor. It's fine. It's fine. I'm prepared. I'm microdosed. It's good. I'm microdosed now.
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
Yeah,
You see this
microdose
outside chicken?
Ashley. Listen, guys. No, but like from the male's point of view, I would say that it's changed in all the very stereotypical ways, and also like, I don't know, maybe over talked about or over centralized ways that also have some truths to them, right? Whereas it's like, well, women nowadays, they're able to advertise themselves online, and there's just a never-ending plethora, a never-ending line of suitable bachelors or simps or men or just fucking attention givers, money givers, you name it, they've got it right there at their front door, and the game has changed. I agree with that. I absolutely agree with that. And I'm not saying this next part from the viewpoint of a woman as any way to like try to be like, feel sorry for me. And also I'm saying this viewpoint from somebody that's been married, that's had my kids. Like, I'm not in that young 20 something girl era, like the, fuck girl era. So again, take it with a grain of salt. But from the woman's point of view, it's also become much more shallow. It's something that I had to get get quite accustomed to, and it wasn't easy. I realized quickly that it's a very face value. Let me peacock my greatest values and my worth and my, like, try to give you my best assets or almost over exaggerate or pretend, who I am online so that I can gain your number, first of all, off the app, right? And then from there, let me continue to do this until I meet you in person. And then from there, let me continue to do this until I get you in bed. And then from there, I feel like the modern dating strategy has nothing else to offer. It's almost as if once we get like, okay, I got her attention on the app, I got her number, I got her in bed. Now I'm in person with her, like, or now that I've fucked her and stuff, or now that I fucked him, it's like, it's almost as if modern dating and modern society has taught us that, like, all right, that's it, on to the next one. And it's this culture of like, just fuck them, forget them, like, chase it, and then like, fucking, it's it. And you're always chasing the dragon. It's like, the guy's always like, oh, she was a 5 out of 10 or a 6 out. I know I could do better. Like, she's my practice girl until I get the, Stacy of my dreams. And for the girls, it's like, oh, like, from my experience anyways, like, it's like, oh, he was sweet and everything, but it seemed like all he really wanted was that end game. And so now I'm also going to become the product of this environment. Again, this is my point of view. So, flip the script here and it could be both parties saying this. But it's almost like what is it, the Ouroboros, like the snake eating its own tail. Like, we're both teaching each other the wrong things. And once we get this like goal, which is just like what, penetration, it's over, and we have no more value for each other as human beings, and all of those things that interested us before that is almost null and void. And
Huh.
now that's not everybody, but it seems to be the culture, way much more so than when I was dating prior to this era in my life. Sorry.
That's a fact. I mean, and thank you for that. That was fire. I got it. That was. I know people are like, man, that was kind of long, but we're all listening. I gotta give you a Don DeMarco on that one, girl. Because there's a lot of truth in there. If we begin to dig down on what you were saying, I agree with you. Prior to, like you said, when you got married, when you were courting and all that, and then that led to your marriage, and then unfortunately, you had the divorce, and then bam, now you're back out. The game has to be unrecognizable, and you're right that people get into where they get to the point where they can smash. All right, you get to have some sex. So there's a lot of short-term dating strategies out there. Now, depending on who you talk to, they'll say, well, women are chasing the top tier guys, the Chads, the Tyrones are out there smashing and having good times. That's all they want. And then the women are like, men ain't shit and da da da. But it's like, well, you're not looking at the average guy. Like, babe, you're like maybe one step above average. You're a 6. You're not looking at 6s. You're only looking at 9s and 10s because those are the guys you've been smashing. Okay, when you tone all that noise down, and all that's true, but when you tone that noise down, when a man pursues a woman, right, and a woman is like, this is the guy I want to chase me, and he gets the intimacy, he gets the sex, that's where I think women need to show value. The value add has to come in to keep that guy there, because sex is
And
only going to go ahead.
here's my counter argument to that, though. Like, back in my day, in your day, like, my husband of 13 years, I know that we're divorced now, and that has nothing to do with any of this. 13 years, 2 mortgages, kids, cars, like, come on. Obviously, this isn't the reason we divorced, but in my day, I did have sex with my husband on the first date. We had sex on the first date, and we were
That was
inseparable.
a thing.
We
Yeah.
were married for 13 years. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's put a totally new spin. It's completely just, I almost think the ease at which it is. Like, okay, I joke with my girlfriends about this, about like Tinder, whatever dating app you want to call it. It's Uber dicks, Uber pussy. Like,
It
that's
really
what
is.
it is. That's
Call
what
it
it
up.
is. And
Call it up.
you just kind of, you devalue, and you lose respect. You lose respect for the game, for the effort, for the human.
You do. You definitely do. Casual Germs in the building. Late night stream. Yes, sir. I just YouTube is. I'm convinced the YouTube algorithm is trying to shut me down, bro. We're down over 100 subscribers in the past 12 hours. So I'm like, I might as well jump on.
And that's funny. That's when you popped up on my algorithm. What does that say about us?
Right. It's like, huh? And Brother Pitney is saying he agrees. He was like, since sex became easier to get, love got harder to find. Bro,
Preach.
that's a profound statement right there, man. That's what's up. That's fire. Fire. I think that he's absolutely right. Can I? And I'm gonna ask you some questions, and if you don't feel comfortable answering any of these questions,
I'm
please just
comfortable with
don't do
everything.
it.
I'm fucking Ashley.
It's like not your every day. So, when you met your husband, was he the quote unquote top tier guy, high value guy? Like, did he have it?
No.
Okay.
No.
And
no.
I didn't think he was. I didn't think he was. And
No.
the point I wanted to make was because you guys were probably equally yoked. I would say you probably on the sexual market scale was maybe a little higher to him, maybe a notch or two. I don't.
If I'm being
just
realistic,
guessing.
slightly so, yeah. But I guess if you want to look at monetary value, he was higher than me. Yeah.
Which makes sense. But so the fact that you guys got together and had that magical moment, y'all smashed, and it was just like he just instantly fell in love with you. I mean, and what part of the country were you guys in when all this was going on?
Oklahoma.
All right, so you're okay. You're in Oklahoma.
This is circa 2007.
Dealing with the real world, right? In Oklahoma, you know, it's like you guys, you go out, you hook up, and in that part of the world, most people aren't trying to just smash every single night. You're in Oklahoma.
Like we met at a mutual friend's birthday party that happened to be at like a local bar, but it was a mutual friend's birthday party. We didn't know each other. He showed up. It was this big round table. The only seats left were like me and him. We had to sit next to each other. I did not want to sit next to him. There was a guy that I thought there was a guy I thought was way cuter, which is actually his brother. At the time, it changed, trust me. But like, I was like, damn, I wanted to sit next to him and blah, 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 you know. And this whole night, like, he's making these jokes and he's just being like this kind of almost dickhead, but like sarcastic in like a cute, lovable way. And I'm just like, who the fuck is this guy? Like, first of all, and this is very fucking black-pilled of me, but I was like, he's too short. Like, I'm not going to date him. He's too short. Motherfucker was like 5'7".
That's normal. I don't even think that's black. That's realistic.
5'7.5", right? Maybe 5'8" on a good day, like with the right shoes. I'm 5'4", so he's still taller than me, but I'm like, ugh, you know, his shoulders weren't that broad. His chin line was kind of weak. And I was just like, he's okay, like physically, right? But his attitude and persona was just so, it was kind of hot and it kind of turned me on, but I still was just like, no, you know. So it turned out my friend I was with really ended up liking his brother, the same one I liked, because his brother was really hot, like physically speaking, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so whatever, we had the night. This guy, my ex-husband, he ended up kissing me randomly while we were playing pool. And I was like, oh, what the fuck, bro? Like kind of pushing him off of me and laughing like it was whatever. And then we exchanged numbers. He tried to call me. I didn't answer. He texted me once during the week, never replied. And then the next weekend comes and his brother invites my friend to a party at their house. And she was like, please come with me. Because I was like, no, get Carolyn to go with you. Get so-and-so. I'm not going. Like, that guy has called and texted me and I don't want to see him again. And I'm dead ass. I would have never fucking
So when he
seen him
was
again.
calling and texting you, was it excessive? Was it
No. No. He called me one time, left me a voicemail and said, hey, this is whatever his name is. Just calling because you gave me your number, seeing what's up. That was it. And then he texted me like maybe on Wednesday because he called me that night just to give me his number. Texted me maybe Wednesday and was like, hey, gorgeous. That was it. And then that was it. Nothing. Come Friday, his brother's inviting my friend to a party. And I'm like, no, because so-and-so is going to be there. And I fucking ignored his messages after I kissed him at the pool table. Like, I'm not going.
Well, he kissed you.
Know?
He kissed you, girl. I mean,
no, he did get, but I kissed him back. We kissed for like a few seconds. And I was like, then I was like pushed him off. I was like, all right, no. Like, what the fuck? No, get off of me. Like, this is stupid. Not like in a Me Too way, but just like playful, like, all right, no, that's enough. Like, no, I'm drunk. You're drunk. Get off. I don't like you. And anyway,
I do know. I do know.
yeah, exactly. Like back then it wasn't Me Too. It was just like, fuck, get off me. Yeah, exactly. We were playing. Anyway, and then whatever, she couldn't find anyone. She begged me and I was like, all right, I'll go with you. So then I texted him back and I was like, oh, hey, like a week later. And I was like, sorry, I never replied to your messages or whatever. Been busy this week, but I guess I'm coming out to your party with so and so. So see you soon. And all he said was, all right. Like,
Giggity.
And
You knew what time it was. Giggity.
yeah. And I got there and I didn't want to see him. I wasn't attracted to him. But I'm telling you, when I walked in that house and I saw him, he was a totally different man. He was dressed, he looked different. He is everything. And it was that cheesy moment of like, whoa.
Yeah, dude.
And it was on. It was on from there. And that's
he had game. And that's the night you slept with him, which technically was the second night. That was not the first night.
I did not sleep with him that night. No. He asked me on a date. The next weekend we went on a date. Then I slept with him. That night I did that.
So that's the
But that's not a date. These were 2 meetings by chance.
This is how it works.
Then we went on a date.
You gotta listen to your Jedi master, right?
Okay.
This is
I
not a
meant that
sex
the
kink
first
either.
date we had, I slept with him.
But this is okay. This is how I see it. It's not dates, it's encounters. So I have, when I was coming up, when I was in the trenches like that, I had what most men have this thing. It's called the 3-day rule. The first 3 days or the first 3 dates when you meet someone, right? The first minute counts. The first minute is the first day, right?
Okay.
And or first date. So he managed to smash within the 3-day rule. So he was just running. He was right. He was running his game. I'm just giving you the.
And he almost smashed that next time. That second time it was close, bro. It was close. I remember us standing there because it wasn't his house, and he was like, "We can go just half a mile up the street," and I was like, "No, like stop," Like I remember that whole night, and he was like, "All right, go out with me."
That's where he went wrong. Yeah, that's where he went wrong. We can go half a mile up the street. I'm like, we can go to my flatbed truck right here. I'd have been on some grimy.
But if he said that, I would have. Well, okay, I was a little drunk. I'm pretty sure he definitely tried to smash me there, and I was like, "No, it's not private." And then he was like, "Well, I live right up the street." Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Yeah, that's kind of how it went. And I was just like, "No, that's not proper. Like, stop." And this is me, like 20-year-old, 19-year-old Ashley, and I'm like, "No, like, stop it." And anyways, whatever. He ended up asking me out the next weekend. He took me to dinner and we smashed like 3 times.
That's what it is. Now, Sister Ashley, you do realize that your ex-husband was gamed up. When y'all met, dude had game.
Yeah, he definitely did. Yeah.
And he just
had
ran
this
that game.
persona about him that was like, I own you and I own the room and I am man.
AKA confidence. He came in with the confidence, which
Big
overcame
time.
his height. I'm pretty sure you never asked to see a bank account. I mean, did money
Never.
That was it a case where it was presumed that he was successful because of maybe his brother or a circle of friends, or it just didn't?
No, he was a country boy. Like when I met him, he was granted, like successful by blue collar terms, which in my neck of the woods is successful. But he was an aircraft mechanic who was going to college to finish his degree to like try to do different things. But I don't know. I've always thought a man that works with his hands and can make a living fixing things and like providing no matter what was sexy. But I will also tell you that at the young age of, at this time, only 22, he owned his own home and had a truck that was paid off. Like, that's hot.
That is high, and that's pretty much the norm in that part of the world at that time. Even
at
in
that
the South,
time. That's what I'm saying. In the South at that time.
At that time, so
he had been working, paying shit off since he was 18.
So you had a guy who was didn't have the 666. We can probably agree that he wasn't making six figures at that time.
Definitely not. No,
He wasn't over 6 feet. Probably didn't have a six
he
pack.
was
Maybe he did. Cause
not even 5'8".
see, so but what did he have? He had confidence. He had game, right? And this is,
And
social
he
media
showed
wasn't a big
genuine
thing.
interest in me.
Yes, and the social media thing hasn't hit. And Ye had genuine interest in
Right.
you. He
True.
married you, right? So you guys married, and I ain't gonna lie to you, girl. Man, I wish it had worked out for you because that was the
No, me too.
that was it.
I
That was
do.
the dream.
It really
That was
was.
the
I
home
know.
run. Yeah, that was the home
I
run
know.
right there.
It's gonna
Um,
always be my greatest heartbreak and my greatest loss, and I'll never get over it. Yeah.
I feel so bad for you, man, because we have this bond, and now that I've taken you on as a Padawan learner, I mean, I gotta care about you a little bit, right? You're my Padawan. I'm trying to teach you some
Yeah.
shit about the Force, but that was the norm. I would say what 10 years ago, 15 years ago, that was the norm. Now it's
Yeah. Well,
changed.
about 17 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah. So now the game has completely flipped. We're in the upside down,
It has.
and I don't think it's so much about the sex. Like, oh, getting sex on the first night, da da da. I don't think it. Yes, it plays a role in it. I think it's the transactional nature of the sex. It's like women are like, I want this, and I'm gonna give you that, and guys are like, I really
I don't
like you.
know, because part of me feels like it was always a transactional, like, okay, the root of things don't change, right? But the ease and like the method of getting those things does change. I feel like the root of it has always been a transactional thing, whether we like to admit it or think about it or not. And I'm not talking about you. I'm primarily talking about women. Like, whether women want to admit it or not, like, sex has always kind of been an exchange for commodities or for security or for whatever, like, in a way. That doesn't mean we don't enjoy it or etc., but we know that that is kind of our leverage, right? But what
Yes,
online culture and online dating culture specifically has done, it has increased that to such an exponential, unrealistic, just ridiculous nature that women can gain those commodities from their sex without ever have to actually going through the process of the dating, the courtship, the meeting, the finding out. Like, online has ruined that for everybody.
it's ruined it for most. I mean, I tell you who it hasn't affected. It hasn't affected the top 20 guys, the top tier dudes. They're just getting more. I
But
think
it has. It has. I disagree.
oh, in what way? I don't see with this. Well, you gotta tell me which way,
I
young
will. I'll
Padawan.
disagree. I'll disagree because, all right, if you look at my grandparents, for instance, or even me and my ex husband, and this is just 17 to 20 years ago, my grandparents 30, 40, 50 years ago, right? You look at a culture where people were matching up with their, you know, match, whether it's like looks, attraction, interest versus, like income, whatever, the same kind of match we were just talking about.
Well, let's pause it right there. Let me jump in right there. Yes, I agree with you, but we have to add that one caveat: the range. Right? They were stuck in a radius of at the most their state.
Yes, that's part of it. Yes.
So make sure we
But
got to throw that part in
it's
there.
more than that. It's more than that. I agree with you, and that's part of what I'm saying. My theory is that back then you could see a 18-year-old boy getting married, like my grandparents, for instance, getting married, staying married for years and years and years. Or even me and my ex-husband. I was 19 and he was 22. We matched up, married, had together our entire adult lives until recently, right? You can see this happen. Nowadays, though, what does it take for a male to be in that position, like my ex-husband was in, or like my grandpa was in, to be able to have the kind of leverage to gain the attention, sexual attraction, and potential marriageability of a female within his range? It doesn't. The man
Well,
now. Think
well,
about.
you
Hold
know
on.
the
Hold
answer
on.
to that question.
Hold on. Think about this
Okay.
for 1 second, though. Most men now have to reach at least 27 to 35 before they're. It's changing and shifting, and it's kind of weird. I'm not saying it's bad. I understand why it's happening, but it's not.
Ex-husband is two things. It's first of all game. All he needs to be is gamed up, and by that I'm not
But
talking
how do
about.
these young men know this when everything they know is online culture?
Well, but Joe, and the second part to that would be the community and the Bible thumpers love this part. Back then, there was more influence from the church or from those who were religious. Now, it wasn't maybe as
My ex-husband was atheist when I met him.
okay, but there was
I
still
think it was more
influence. But the influence was still there, even though if maybe it wasn't as strong with your couple, you two as a
the
couple.
cultural influence. Yes.
Yes, the cultural influence, and he may have been atheist, but he wanted to get married. Did you guys get married in the church, or did you guys say the words?
We got married on a motorcycle in Sturgis.
That's crazy. That's what's up.
No lie. We're in a magazine.
You was with the dude.
We're in a magazine.
You was with the dude, but I would say that the lack of game, right? Because game was always taught. I learned my game from the people around me. The OGs passed it down to us, and there's a gap now. There's a gap, and that gap is being filled by the Manosphere, Red Pill, self-help, whatever you want to call that movement. People like Myron Gaines, people like Rich Cooper, people like Michael Sertain, people like D.L. Saint, trying to fill that gap. But
I love how you throw in people like DL Saint, like ooh,
trying to get in there, get myself a little.
I love it.
But and the only reason I throw myself in there is because I'm known in those circles, and I talk to these young guys. The confidence that your ex-husband had, and your grandfather had, was common. Men were confident back then. Men work with their hands. Men played sports. Men went to the military.
Men made money.
Wars.
Men had property. Men had good credit scores.
Good credit. Even if they didn't, they still worked hard. They had cash.
You have to consider these things.
Yes. You know what I mean? Brother Shaw's in the building. This is Shaw. If you ever checked out his podcast, what's good, fam? Brother Shaw's been on this show. He used to work with he was the guy that handled child support stuff. He worked with child support folks out in California. So I can't wait to collab with him again. Because real good guy. He's in the chat, man. I just wanted to show him, give him his flowers, tell him what's up. You know what I mean? But men have lost that. Maybe it's a generation, maybe it's two, but there's a growing gap where men don't have it. Here's a guy who's under 6 feet, not the prettiest man in the world, right? But he's gamed up in his region, and he was able to get himself a hottie, right? He was successful, got married, did it.
But why? And that's where I think the biggest gap is between today's young men and the yesteryear's young men. I honestly do. I think that the fact that our mortgage is now at least, if not more, 50% of our income has something to do with it.
Well, yeah.
You have
a lot to do with it.
Things. If you really want to get to the root of it, you do. Genuinely, 20 years ago, a young man of 22 had exponentially more prospects and opportunities to have the materialistic, advantages to gain a woman that he wanted to be with. I don't think it's quite the same nowadays. I genuinely don't. Now our culture is pushing, go to college, get your education. Then you go to college and you become what? Like a fucking, underwater basket weaver. And you're making $25,000 a year and you owe 100,000 student loans, and you can't get a mortgage because your credit score is null and void because mommy and daddy paid your bills the entire time. Like, we have a generation of pussies, and it's our fault, but it's also the government's fault. And I think that this is part of the decline of Western society as far as sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, I would argue that yes, what you're saying is true. At the same time, you have weak men, you have this increase in strong women. Women are being empowered. Women are being told by other women and men in their family, you need to be strong. You need to be independent. You need to be this, and this.
And
And at
why
the
is
same
that?
Cultural shift. I don't want to
Why is that?
I don't want to take the easy answer and say, oh, it's feminism. I don't want to just say that. But
Well, it is, but also like, I'm sorry, let me stop.
no,
I'm
no,
on
go
a
ahead. No,
roll.
no, no,
I had
no.
this conversation earlier today on Twitter, and I'm like just
I
fired
want
up.
you
But
to I want you to roll with a young Padawan. Let's go. You know what I mean?
well, one thing that I do take, and I didn't used to, but now I don't take offense to, but I do see, I see as problematic is like, well, you have these older, widowed, or, post wall or divorced women, feminists telling these younger women what to do. Okay, that is not wrong, actually. You're not wrong. You're correct in that. But what no one ever addresses is why. Why? Why has that happened? If things were so perfect and great and pristine and wonderful before, then why do you have this influx of these women telling younger women? I'll tell you a memory of mine from high school. I was in high school, I was a sophomore. My grandmother, who was married to my grandpa for 30 something years at this point, she said privately to me one time, she goes, Ashley, I love you. You're so smart, you're beautiful, all these things. She goes, never, ever, ever base your existence, your worth, or what you can do in this life on a man. You make sure, even if and when you get married, and I'm 15, she goes, you make sure that you can financially and emotionally support yourself. Why is my grandma telling me this? Right. And then, hold on. Then, when I'm 22, my grandpa, he leaves her for a woman 20 years younger than her, and she's to this day she's living in their old house, a spinster, and he's off with his wife 20 years younger. And I'm looking at these examples, and I'm like, I see what you guys are all saying with like, oh, these women are like influencing these young women, but it's like, but why are they? If things were so fucking great and perfect back then, why would you have this influx of these horrible feminist older women influencing these younger women? I'm not saying it's right or it's the prescription, but we're not getting to the root of the problem.
You know what I think the problem is, and I hear what you're saying. There was a massive overcorrection, and I hear what you're saying with like, well, if things were so great, me and my buddy Jay Swans, it's my brother. We served together in the United States Army. We met over 30 years ago, jumped out of airplanes together, went on mission, won medals together. Like this is my brother, right? And
Hoorah.
yeah, airborne. So we were having this conversation. And I'm not trying to get political. I just want to use an example
No,
for the
you're all
political
good.
world.
You're all good with me, baby.
Yeah.
I'm fine.
Oh, that was for the crowd. I know we good because you're my Padawan learner. I
Oh,
can say what I
sorry,
want
sorry. I'm your Padawan. We're fine.
to. Just start making you do push-ups. Just talk when I'm talking.
All right, all
Padawan.
right. I need it.
Use
I
the
need
force.
discipline in my life.
so here's the thing. When you have, conservatives who would say, man, we miss the old days, make America great again, right? Because in their minds, that was like the perfect time, especially people my age and older, in their 50s and up. They're like, it was perfect. They think back on it. They were kids. You know what I mean? There was the house. You had everything was going good. The schools were good. The neighborhood was good. You had a white picket fence. You had a dog. All this other kind of stuff. For them, it was great. But they're forgetting about all the bad shit that was going on in that same time frame.
Fucking good
So,
point.
right? So it's the same thing
Dude,
with
I
women. Like,
respect some goddamn wisdom.
hey, like I said, I ain't become a Jedi Knight for nothing. God damn it, I'm sitting at the council. So
Padawan listens.
so the thing is, and a lot of people get mad. Like black folks will get mad. Make America great again, and a lot of people get mad. I'm just like, I get where you're coming from. It was great for y'all, but that same time, for me, not so much. Now is one of the times I'm like, shit, America's great right now. So when you're looking at, we changed the lens back to the conversation that we're having. Women overcorrecting, society overcorrecting, because let's keep it 100. Women were getting the short end of the stick. You know what I mean? Women were, getting beat, having to deal with all kind of abuse. not having an opportunity to save any money or do anything, kind of stuck with what they were stuck with. They had no real
Not
choices
even able to get a credit line until the 80s.
without someone helping them out, right? So it was bad for women, but then there were some women who lived there and were like, man, I'm cool with this. Why? I got a good guy. So it's cool for me.
Yeah,
But then you have women who,
facts.
right? But you have women out there like, well, I don't have that good guy, and this is shitty for me. I can't break away. The court system's against me. If I try to break away, they're gonna come take the kids, all this kind of stuff. So you have this massive correction the other way, right? We just swing the other way. And women, older women are telling young women, girl, you got to get ready, toughen up, be a warrior. You know what I'm saying?
But it's done out of love and not out of malice.
Exactly. But it's done nonetheless. So, and at the same time, young boys are being babied and coddled and, protected. So they become men, and the women, like Xerxes said, I say it on this platform all the time, like back in the day, Xerxes, when he fought, Leonidas in his 300, Xerxes was basically saying the women today, he was like, my women are made of man parts and men are made of women parts, something like that. But he was basically saying that my toughest soldier on the battlefield is a lady, and all these dudes are pussies. And that's what we're dealing with now. So now these women have gone out there and they've gotten everything, right? All right, I got the bag secure.
If you're not a fucking genius, Jesus Christ.
Well, I mean, but well, thank you, appreciate that. You ain't gotta fluff me up, girl. I already took you on as my pad one. I can only have one, so I can't fire you. You stuck with me until you do the trials. But I appreciate what you just said. But the thing is this. The thing is this. Women have gone out there and be like Rolo says all the time. Women have become the men that they want. And these dudes are weak as shit, except for the guys who managed to go out here and been punched in the mouth. These guys who have, joined the military, fought their wars, stood up to their bullies. The guys who aren't victims, there's only a handful of them, right? And then we get to women who say, well, I can be feminine whenever I want. I could turn the masculine off. I could turn off my alpha. That's a lie. You can't. You can't fucking turn it off. I can't turn mine off. How the fuck are you gonna turn yours off? You cannot turn it off. And then you start getting into the Evo psych stuff that Michael Certain talks about and all that, hypergamy and all that. All that stuff is still there. All that stuff is still there. And now you have you got a super alpha woman, right? Who's out here in the world full of super soft ass dudes. And add to that the technology. Right. And throw the technology on top of that. So when your grandma met your granddad, right, what could she do? Who was she gonna fuck with? She gonna fuck with the people in her town, right? In her region, in her state. She's not gonna get outside of that. Right? She's not gonna get outside of that.
No.
Now, like when you met your husband, ex-husband, sorry, I keep mixing it up, but when you met him, imagine if you had the technology in your pocket and you talking to a dude in Miami, you talking to a dude in LA, you talking to a dude in London, and they hitting you with the game.
I literally could have relocated anywhere at any time for the best option. Absolutely. In my prime, absolutely.
Right. And what you looking at? You looking at, well, shit, mama and grandmama told me I secure my bag, but I gotta get the best. I gotta get the best. I'm the best. I gotta get the best. I'm
want what's best for your children and so on and so forth.
Right.
God damn,
this dude got a yacht. Right. It's just me looking at all this shit. This dude got a yacht. This dude over here.
You're just saying it in a way that's so palatable. I appreciate it.
And one of the things we over here, I got all kinds of buttons, but one of my favorite buttons is what we do over here. We like to think about shit, man. We put it through the old
think tank. Nothing gets past the old think tank. Nothing.
You know what I mean? Shout out to Guy Ritchie. That's from Rock and Roller. Put it through the old think tank. Right. I love Guy Ritchie's, Rock and Roller Smash.
Oh my God.
We could do a whole show on
Guy Ritchie. And fucking oh my God. What's the sorry, I'm derailing. Go ahead, I'll think of it.
Well, you come up with it, write it down, young Padawan. You know what I mean? Don't forget it. But
it's the movie about fighting with Brad Pitt and like fucking Guy Ritchie.
You're talking about Fight Club, but I don't think that was a Guy Ritchie
movie.
Oh, that's Snatch.
Snatch.
That's the one that's right behind me. You see that poster?
Sorry,
it's on the poster right behind me.
Go ahead. Sorry, but
yeah, it's right. So you can see it real clearly, girl. There it is. Snatch right there. See? If you look at the screen.
Yeah, exactly. One of the best movies ever. Anyway, I
Yeah,
digress.
absolutely. Yeah, but where we are now is technology has made it to where women are just like, fuck, there's an infinite amount of choices. And irregardless of where she sits, right? You know, and a lot of women use their emotions. I mean, it is what it is. They don't want to sit back and take a true assessment of themselves. Right. And then you're like, well, I deserve this or I deserve that. It's like, well, look, baby, deserves got nothing to do with it. You know what I mean? Shout out to Clint Eastwood and Unforgiven. One of my favorite lines ever written in a movie.
Fuck yes.
Deserves got nothing to do with it. Like until women understand it, you know what? You want to go out and have fun. You want to be alpha. You want to be like men. All right, go out and fuck like men. Go out there and smash you a dime. You know what I mean? Go get you a 10, go get you a 9, go
100.
have some fun. Go do all that. But at the end of the day, no, you can't keep that guy. You tried, it didn't work. You don't have enough. You can't offer enough value for that dude. So go back down to your level, wherever that is. You might be average. 5 is average. You're average
Wherever
person.
that is.
Yeah, get that average dude. He's there. I get so upset with my female friends when they're like, "Oh, I can't find a good man." I'm like, "Bullshit. He's in your phone."
The problem now, though, that goes back to what I'm saying with the dating apps and like the average quote unquote man, right? Or boy, whatever you want to classify it as, depending on the age group. Like the problem is that your average or below average female is able to quote unquote pull that above average guy. That's
Yeah,
why
she can
I'm
smash you.
saying
She can smash you.
that's exactly what I said when we started. Like, I feel like dating apps have kind of equivocated like this whole like we've completely negated and surpassed and just completely ignored the courtship of like, oh, let's meet in person and let's actually like I don't know. It's like, how are people even getting married anymore? If they don't meet when they're in college or in high school, like as we grow up and more jobs become remote, more and more people become remote. We move to these cities, we don't know each other, and we become kind of chronically online. And so our dating experiences become online. And we expect to meet somebody that's actually going to match our energy in that way. It doesn't seem feasible. And what I'm seeing from just my end of the spectrum, not my personal experience actually, but like circles I'm involved with and things I'm seeing is like these women and men, like specifically women, the women are like expecting they're expecting the same things I was expecting 20 years ago, but with very minimal online participation or effort. And the men are just not seeing the value in that as much. The give.
Well, there is no value in it for a top tier guy. The guys who see the value are the men that those women tend to overlook.
But how are these women going to meet this quote unquote or this proverbial top tier man, right? Like if they're also accepting jobs that are primarily online, they're only going out with their girlfriends. Cause I've gone out a few times. I see like a lot of these younger, attractive college age girls, they're going out with their girlfriends, which are like honestly, and I've seen this a lot, a group of like quote unquote like lesbian friends who kind of run interference the whole time. Like you can't cold approach these girls because they're lesbian friends. And I'm dead ass. I'm being dead ass. Like the lesbian
You
friends play
can if you
interference.
are you have to be a master of the art. Yes, but it's always been women out there running interference. Be the gay woman or the woman who was married or the woman that wants
But you
her
can't
girlfriend.
deny that we're entering an era of that being even more and more difficult. So whatever game you had 20 years ago or plus has got to be stepped up a notch beyond interpretation almost.
You know what? Not necessarily, because true game is eternal. I mean, for lack of a better term, like the game I run today, if I wanted to run games, the same as the game I ran in the 90s, which is the same as the game my dad ran in the 60s, which is the same game that his father ran in the 40s, and so on, all the way back to the beginning, right? It's the confidence and the ability to, like we said earlier tonight, read the room, make her laugh, make her feel comfortable, demonstrate that you a real one. She can
True.
be safe with you. This is always going to be
At
the
that
same.
point, I feel like it comes down to natural selection, though, because there are naturally just some, not men or women, but just people who are born innately with that ability to have that, I don't know, room reading ability. Some people are like, so the primary, like, I guess, demographic I see in these disgruntled young men that are like frustrated and fed up with the way the current dating market is, it seems to be the more like what you would call like autistic, not socially adept young men who aren't the type that are able to like just be yourself, bro. Just have charisma, bro. Like that type. That's the
But it
type I see kind of falling more into these, what I would say, like maybe or whatever traps. What do you think?
well, I think that you can in fact be shown the way. I think you can be. Now, I can't train you in the game to be a pimp. Everybody ain't gonna get to that level of it, and who would want to be there? Like, because a true pimp can just with his mind have other people, not just women, do his bidding. Right? That's just like another level of it. But for a guy just to have basic understanding and be able to maneuver in the world, in the dating marketplace, that guy can be trained up. I was trained up not just by my dad or my uncles and my cousins, but by my friends when I was growing up. Right? We went outside. That's another big thing. No one goes outside. I got punched a lot growing up, and I punched a lot of people, right? That you'll be surprised what that does to a young man, a young boy.
I personally would not be surprised, but yeah, the proverbial you would be. Yeah.
Oh my God. Again, the vast majority of men in America have never been punched in the mouth. They've never tasted the blood. They've never been hurt like that. They've never run for their lives. And I don't want to take it to the extreme, but when you become competent in these things and you're not worried, women sense that. So one of the places I used to hang out in Tampa is the Edition. Have you been to the Edition Hotel at all?
No, I don't believe so. No.
It's downtown, like Channel Side. It's like right across the street from where the hockey team plays. It's like right
Oh
there.
yeah, no. I haven't been many places here in Tampa. No.
Girl, beautiful hotel, right? And up until last week, they have on the second floor of the hotel, they have this lounge that they kind of made a quasi nightclub. So when you're talking about seeing young people come out, I would be there, people watching, mostly networking. I'll get there early, network with folks, and I would stay long enough just to watch the women come in and the guys come in. And the dudes are not interacting with the women. And these young girls come in looking good. And they're coming, the women are moving in pack and like, groups of 2 and maybe a pack of 5 at the most. And all the women are trying to get chose. They're down there trying to get dudes. And the dudes are just not engaging. And the girls are just kind of, so here I am. I'm standing there, and whenever I go out, I dress like a gentleman. Like I people come, and get in my orbit just based on the way I'm dressed. So I got all these young girls,
I believe
20,
that.
yeah, like from 21 to whatever, 28, and they're just in my orbit trying to figure out what I'm doing and why I'm there, and strike up a conversation or whatever. And I'll ask them, like, well, have any of these guys approached you? And they're like, no. Some of the girls will be bitchy, right? Some of the girls, you like, these college girls, these super hyper masculine women, right? Young women, they think they know everything. And I sit back and I just laugh. You know what I mean? And they're like, well, what's so funny? I'm like, you're never going to be successful, shorty. I can tell you why these dudes ain't coming to you. And I'm not trying to be mean. You're going to have to soften it up if you want these softball dudes to come over here and talk to you, because you're more masculine than they are. And women just don't understand. And the look in their eyes, they're like, what? I'm not masculine. I'm like, yes, you are. Just because you're wearing makeup and you got on fingernail polish don't mean, you done shut the masculinity off. I can sense your alpha. You were saying something?
That's funny that you mentioned that, because and then again tonight, like I think that the tone of my voice changes based off of like, all right, it's late and I'm getting over a cold, so right now it's very low toned. But I had a talk recently with an old high school classmate of mine, a boy, man, whatever. And the reason we talked was because a fellow classmate committed suicide. Very sad. Very sad. Um,
Yeah, it's sad.
so yeah, I know. But that aside, I messaged this friend and I was like, "Hey, I heard about what so and so did. Like, are you okay? Like, that's crazy. I'm torn up because like it was a big deal. This was a very beloved guy, right? And this is legitimately within this past week. And this friend, instead of texting me back, he calls me and I'm like, oh shit, okay. And I answer it and we start talking. And he goes, wait, am I talking to Ashley so and so? I'm not gonna give my maiden name.
Mhm.
And I was like, yes, of course you are. What do you mean? And he goes, no, you just sound so different. I said, what do you mean I sound different? And he was like, I don't know, you sound more girly. Like you used to talk like more like, and he was drunk and he was like, we used to talk more like this and you're like one of the bros. And I was like, I'm still one of the bros. What do you mean? Like it was just funny. And we ended up talking for like an hour. We had this very long conversation about how quite possibly my time online post divorce and also just talking to everybody in these spaces has gotten me to a point where I kind of have almost trained myself to like auto simulate a more feminine voice or, tone or point of view. Again, tonight, I know like I'm getting over a cold. It's like that, but I promise you, I was probably like 2 octaves higher this night. And I was like, no, I think it's just blah, blah, blah. And he's like, no, dude, trust me, it's not that. Like, I've talked to you. We were friends for years. I'm telling you already, like, you've become one of these, like you've assimilated. That's what he said. He was like, you're turning into what they want you. And I was like, what are you talking about? And he goes, this podcasting you're doing, like you're trying to be this feminine thing that you're not. Like you're one of the bros. You've always been one of the bros. Just stay one of the bros. And I was like, I don't even know what to say to this, but that's very interesting you brought that up because that's been kind of weighing on my mind lately. Like,
Well, I got some thoughts on
have
that.
have I changed myself because of the content that I cover?
I would say no to that. I would say no to that. I would say this. I don't know about the change yourself, whatever. But yes, you changed yourself at some point, probably when you're young, talking to grandma, and you became masculine. And it takes work to maintain that. I would say your natural state is a feminine state. And what you're doing is you're no longer training to be masculine. You're allowing yourself to be who you were naturally born to be, which is a woman. That would be my argument to what old boy was saying. I think it takes work to be one of the bros. I think you don't have to work at being a woman if you just allow yourself to be. It's just kind of like we've been doing the Star Wars metaphor, right? If you just let go and use the force, your femininity will come out. That's just my take on it.
No, that's interesting you say that because what I said to him was like, I truly don't feel like I've thought about this or overthought about this, but it is interesting. Sorry, hold on.
Yeah. Yeah. And while we're holding on, Brother Smeebles is saying, if you want to find a woman, a lot of the time it's in public areas and not clubs. Talking to a woman on the street is next level nowadays because such little people do it now. Yeah, a lot of people just the cold approach thing, man. They don't really know how to do it or whatever. And Brother Smeebles continues. He was like, nowadays with that example of DL in that hotel, a lot of men don't approach because there is most likely some fear of SA, which is true, and they're waiting for the woman to make the approach so they're safe. There's a lot of that, but with the younger people, what I'm seeing with these young men, they just don't know how to approach, and they're uncomfortable. And think about it, we're dealing with what 3 or 4 generations of everyone gets a trophy now, so no one wants to be no one's a loser. Like, well, in real life, when you go approach a woman, when you get denied, right? That's an L. But you need to take these L's. But we live in a world with these young guys who are afraid to take losses in order to get better. They're afraid to get hurt in any way, shape, or form. And I think that's a big problem. But there's a lot to what you're saying, Brother Smeebles. There are dudes who do know how to approach that are standing off, especially approaching a group, because they're not quite sure what's up with these women. No one wants to get, Me Too'd or accused of something they didn't do or being seen a certain way. So all that has changed the game. So Sister Ashley, you back with us?
Yeah. It was very like disarming and also kind of eye-opening to me, because this is not a person who is any way, shape, or form into any of the type of content that we're into. Somebody from my hometown, and saying that, and then when I started to explain, okay, well, like, I've been involved in like some of this type of content or this, like maybe I've started to do this, and he was like, you've assimilated, like you've literally changed who you naturally are to try to please them. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, I don't I don't know. It kind of made me start to feel self-conscious, like, am
I wouldn't
am I
feel
doing that? Like, is the manosphere content affecting me in the way that, like, I'm actually going out of my way to be more feminine because I'm constantly made fun of for like my deep voice or my masculine traits or my abrupt, or like all of these things, and like, am I overcompensating and now like I'm not being my true self?
I mean, it's possible. I mean, if you are the quote unquote tomboy and that's who you've been your whole life, okay, maybe. I don't know you. I've known you. I haven't known you long enough to really say. But when women are around true masculine dudes, or when they're around true masculine energy or true masculine space, they generally, fall into their natural state, which is the feminine, right? It's the whole yin and yang thing. I
Yeah.
mean, it is what it is. I have met very few women. I'm talking about paratroopers, airborne women, hardcore women, super alpha women. But when they're around a man that makes them giggle, that gives them the butterflies, when they're around a dude that makes them blush
Yeah.
and look down and like, oh, don't bring him over here. They go from being, Wonder Woman, She-Hulk to, being a powder puff girl, just like that. You know what I mean? Because it's just like that's the man I want. So they revert to their natural state. And there's nothing wrong with that. I don't know why so many people get mad when you say stuff like that. Like, well, you're a female, your natural state is feminine. And then they get mad at you for saying it. I'm like, all right, you can try to be a man all you want, but it's not gonna help you. And then when you see that dude, that stud, that alpha, whoever he is, he could be a geek dude, you know what I mean, geeky guy, but he's sure of himself. Or God forbid you come across a Sigma, they don't know what to do with themselves. So and they
The
lose
ones
out.
that classify themselves as Sigma. Now, this is just my experience online. For the ones that classify themselves as that, they're the weirdest motherfuckers I have ever met in my life. They're like, oh, I'm Sigma. Bleh.
That ain't a
Like,
real
no,
Sigma.
you're
I've never
not.
heard a
You're
real
just
Sigma call himself a
weird.
Sigma. A Sigma, the
Exactly.
Sigmas are rare. When people say I'm a Sigma, I'm like, you probably haven't. Like, I know one real Sigma. And like I said, one of the coolest
Who is
guys I
that?
know, a friend of mine, I'll tell you, he's not out here. But he travels a lot. Shit, he
Okay.
might be out here. He might. He's talking about anyway. But in all my travels, all the places I've been around the world, I may have run into a handful of true Sigmas. And a true Sigma dude, he is truly just doing his own thing. And their game is long-term game. And what they are doing is just beyond belief. But when a Sigma, like, I mean, they're like if you're a real Trekkie, like Trekkie, if you're a real Star Wars person,
Trekkie. I'm a
I mean,
Trekkie
I
too.
mean,
That's fine.
I am too a little bit. It was on my mind. But if you keep continuing with the Star Wars analogy, the Sigmas are gray or gray Jedi. Like, a Sigma truly understands every side of game, male game, female game, male nature, female nature, hypergamy. He understands all of that, and he can use all of that and just bend it to his will. And like a real the shit the Sigmas do, and
Mm.
and and the when women fall for a Sigma, you want to talk about being alpha widowed. man, that's
I
the
think
real
my
alpha widow. Like,
ex-husband was a Sigma, like for real. I really do. I
you know
mean,
what I mean?
dead
Like,
ass. Like everything I've ever read, everything I've ever heard, everything I've seen, and I'm like, it's like 5.5 years later, and like I still dream about him, and like I can't. Like,
yeah, that's he might be. I mean, when they imprint, and they know what they're doing. And I mean, dude took his time. Sigmas run real long term game, and the stuff that they do, I
yeah.
can't even tell you on camera. We have to be off camera. You know what I mean? Micro dosing,
But no, like
blowing trees.
that's funny. But like for real though, he's still single as well. He said that after me and this experience, like he's never remarrying or getting in a relationship again. And we have both remained single ever since.
You know, it's something you might want to think about moving forward. I mean, it's nothing wrong with, you know, maybe taking that journey and that road takes you back to where you started with him. You know, just something to think about. Food for thought. I'm not, you know what I mean? I don't know shit. I'm just retired. You know what I'm saying? I'm just a man, old man, Jedi dude sitting in his attic, you know what I'm saying? Talking to his computer. But there's nothing wrong with that. You
I
know what I
love your
mean?
attic.
Like there's nothing wrong with that, girl. I'm here to tell you, especially someone you know it worked for so long. Brother Smeebles is saying, when anyone improves, slant makes changes in their life, there is always others that will pull you back. I'm gonna be honest. If you had a masculine voice as a woman, that actually annoys me after a little while,
Oh, sorry.
bro. But I mean, he's just letting you know, like if I think that
Do
women,
I have a masculine voice? Like I'm not trying to.
I don't think so.
That's a
Give me some
yes.
time. I don't know. It's not a yes. I mean, I would have no
No,
problem
that's
telling you
fine.
yes.
It's fine. It's fine. But that's so funny.
No, I really don't think so. I'm just here thinking about, like, is it a masculine voice? I mean, I don't know. Give me some time. I need to see if the voice changes over time. I need to see if I hear
No, it
different.
does. Like, yeah, but all good.
I need to, if I hear that, then I can tell you. Like if we're, you know, like we're doing some stand-up something, we're all talking to a bunch of comics or
Oh,
whatever.
I
We're
can
doing it.
tell you. I can tell
And I'm gonna
you.
call your ass out. All right, keep playing.
Bend over, baby.
Yeah, no, no Diddy. You're gonna get in trouble. Just be you, Sean Combs, and Lizzo. Y'all gonna be sitting in there with your arm up, right? We're raising your right hand. You know, I
Oh
swear to tell the
shit.
truth.
Oh shit.
You know what I mean? There it is where it is. Brother Smeebles, I second that comment, Dio. If there is a chance with your ex, go for it. And the only reason I say that is because you guys were married for so long. You guys went the whole distance. That's the only reason
Yeah.
I bring it up. That's the only reason I bring it up. And that,
No,
you know, that's
everybody
something.
always says that, and yeah, we'll see. We'll see what the future holds. You know,
Yeah, I was gonna say, get out of my head.
the
I was just
fact
about to say that,
is
young
that
Padawan. Who
nothing happened between us. That is like we didn't. Nobody. There was no infidelity. There was no drug use. There was no abuse. There was nothing. Absolutely nothing. But I will tell you, one day he came to me and said, "I do not love you anymore." That crushed me, right? But I fought and fought and fought. And a couple months into it, finally, after me fighting, he said, "All right, I'll tell you." I said, "What is it?" And this absolutely just fucking destroyed who I am as a human being. But he said, "There's nothing about you or your personality or who you are or your character that I even like. And I can't stand you."
Now that sounds like mind games right there. I don't know what the fuck that is. That's not Sigma.
And I
Uh,
needed to leave. I was like, "All right, I
yeah,
get it."
that's pretty hardcore.
Exactly. And so
That's pretty hardcore. That's
that's the thing that stops me from trying again with him, because I'm like, brutal. Like, you literally crushed me. Then you took it to a whole new level. I was a good fucking wife. Like, wow. Like, you just decided you fucking hated like my sweat. I don't even know how to describe that. Like, it was brutal.
Yeah, and at the same time, he doesn't want to have relationships. I don't want to mess with anybody else. That would
He
take.
doesn't exactly.
No, I'm talking about, yeah,
Does give
he's
me
him.
solace. It
Yeah,
does
I'm
give
talking
me
about him.
solace.
Yeah, but it's just one of those things. I'm like, man, that's, you know, what I mean, that's you talk about taking a shot at somebody. That's just taking a shank and just, you know, pushing it right
Yeah, but I
between the
mean,
ribs.
I asked for it. To be fair, he didn't want to shank me. It was 2 months into the divorce proceedings, and I was literally, and this is so embarrassing, and it, I'm just being brutal. I was literally on my knees at this moment begging him to not break up our family, and that's when he finally told me that I had degraded myself to that level. Like, I will do anything. Why are you doing this? And that's when he told me, or delivered the blow, whatever you want to say. And when he told me that, he knew he had to tell me because I wouldn't give up otherwise. But when he said that, I just don't like you even as a person. Nothing about you do I like. You disgust me. I was like, oh my God. Wow.
Yeah.
Like,
And in all fairness, we are just hearing your side. You know what I mean? Like, you know, it's always
oh
two different
no,
sides to
he's
every story.
amazing.
Yeah,
Oh,
but that's some hardcore shit to
I
say.
actually, no, like, I actually love him very much. He's the most amazing father. I've never badmouthed him ever, and I praise him all the time. I-
Yeah, and
I'm sorry. Please don't take it that way. I
no,
just
no, no,
meant
no.
like,
It's always, it's just always. I'm listening to you and I'm hearing you and I'm like, damn, those some brutal words. And Brother
that's
Smeebles was
just what
saying,
it took for me to leave, is all I'm saying. He knew he
right,
had to do that for me to leave. And he
right.
did that. He told me at the time, he said, I'm doing this for your own good, Ashley. I still don't believe that, but like, maybe he
You gotta
meant,
believe what I would say. You have to believe what he says. And Brother Pitney said it right here. Like, it doesn't even sound like he genuinely meant those words. It just sounded like he was uh just trying to destroy you, or in this case, get you to move a certain direction. You know,
yeah.
yeah. Like I said, I mean, you do not know what tomorrow's gonna bring.
He said he knew
Next
I
year,
wasn't happy and that this wasn't right and that I would thank him in the long run and I needed to move on. And I was like, I don't know.
right.
Anyway, I don't mean to
Yeah, I ain't mad
badmouth
at
him.
you.
That was the last thing I wanted to do.
No, I didn't take it as such. I mean, I think he just, I think he did what he felt he needed to do to get you to move a certain way. I'm with Brother Pitney. I don't think that he meant that. I think it was done to get you to take a course of action, and obviously it worked. Brother Smeebles, he was like, I done the similar thing with my ex, but not that statement. There was something lacking, and after a while, it ate at him. I kind of understand, but I don't like her as a person. That's a rough breakdown. Like, yeah, man, that's a tough one, man. That's a tough one. And then, he continues to say, the more you speak, the more I understand him. We'll end it we'll end this part of the conversation with these words. Um, I think you guys are gonna be tied together and continue to move in the orbit. And we'll see what happens down the road. But it sounds to me that he said what he needed to say to get you to move a certain way. And again,
Yeah. I will
uh, you
say
know,
that I trust him in all and every decisions. To this day, the beneficiary of my life insurance is him. Against the advice of like my friends and family, they're like, why would you do that? I'm like, because I trust him. Like, I know that he's going to do what's right for like my kids. That's what's important. And he's always been an amazing father. I just think that I let him down.
Uh, I just wish it were hard to get divorced for stories like this. I wish that no fault divorce was not a thing. You know what I mean? Uncle Ronald Reagan did that.
Dude, thank you.
It's like, I
I'd
think
be
it
like,
should be
bitch,
tougher.
tell the court that like you don't like me as a person. You fucking agreed to be with me for life. What are you gonna do now?
Right. And the judge would be like, that's not enough. I don't care. Yeah, you ain't gotta like her. You know what I mean? Y'all married. Go on home and work that out. But and I was joking when I said Uncle Ronald Reagan. People would be like, "Oh my, see, Uncle saying he's hardcore conservative or whatever." Like, nah, Ronald Reagan was just, I mean, hell. Anyway, we ain't gonna get into that.
You know,
But oh, go ahead.
if I can, I'll tell this
Yeah, yeah.
quick little quid pro quo, like this quick little story. But my grandma told me, God bless her soul, RIP, she died of cancer this year. But my grandmother told me that, so whenever all this stuff was going on with my husband wanting to leave me, and like me and my family, him and his family, no one was sure, like, is this really happening? Because everyone was so shocked, like nothing actually quote unquote happened. Like, why is this happening? Right.
Right.
My grandma said, Ashley, I'll tell you, while I was with your grandfather, I fell in and out of love with 3 men. The man that came
Damn, man.
in,
Huh?
well, listen. The man that came in and swept me off my feet, when we were young, promised me the world, and we made that world happen. Then the man that lost his job and had trouble and started to fail things and started to feel like less of a man, and I had to step up and take over. And I love that man. I fell in love with that man, that weak, broken man. Then the man that you know now as your grandpa, the sweet, loving, old, like, come here, let me slap you on your ass, like, be a good kid, like, all right, man. My grandma said that marriage is not about, oh, I fall in love when I'm 19 to 20 something years old and it's just going to be hunky dory the rest of our lives. Marriage is about falling in love with someone and committing to loving that person and falling in love with who that person becomes over and over throughout life. That is the commitment of marriage. And I just fucking just,
Well, grandma
that
gets it
makes
down
me
to Marco
melt.
because that's fire right there.
That's fire.
That's definitely a down to Marco, and she's right. That's the one thing I tell people when we talk about relationships. I'm like, relationships, I mean, men and women, this is the hardest thing you ever do. You talking about getting married, that's the hardest thing you'll ever do in this existence. And it's work. It takes a lot of work. I've never been married. I'll never be legally married. I'm pretty sure I will have a relationship with someone, especially once my daughter's out of high school. She's gonna start high school
Me.
next year. So I'm not married. I'm not gonna be legally married. I'm gonna do my thing. But even when you have these relationships, you it's so much give and take, mostly taking. You know what I mean? Because they're taking you like you're a given. I'm sorry, mostly given, and just being attentive to them, and God, it's just so much work. I've always I know how to be in a relationship, but with today's woman, man, I'm with Rich Cooper, man. The juice just isn't worth the squeeze in most cases. Even for people who are old, like I'm old now, and I'm like, okay, maybe these women done chilled out. They haven't. It's the same. It's the same, girl. It is the same. Brother Smeeb was his final word on what we were talking about with you and your ex-husband. He was like, man, have a chat with them and see what happens. And I'll leave it at that. Appreciate that, Brother Smeebles. That's wisdom coming all the way from down under, all the way from Australia, girl. We got them all over the world over here. We
I
didn't
love
even get a
that.
chance to watch this video. So, and
We
I
can
gotta
watch
get ready
it
for
or
bed.
whatever. Sorry.
Well, I gotta get ready for bed. I gotta get the little. I keep calling her
I
my little
didn't
one,
mean to
but
derail.
no, this was amazing. This was better than I could hope for. You really
I
dropped some
loved it.
gems.
Like, it was much needed. Like, this was one of the best spaces I've been in months, probably. Honestly, I loved it. I loved every
Appreciate it.
minute of it.
Yeah, I appreciate it. And I mean, you're always welcome here. We can get together whenever you want. Hit me up, like, hey, go live. I don't care. I'll go live
Well, next
anytime.
Thursday for the open mic night, like, I'm definitely down. I'm dead ass. Like, all right, you sent that? Yep, I
Yeah,
got it.
yeah. So, just shoot me a text Thursday for sure. We're gonna do open mic. Brother Shaw was like, great show, man. I appreciate you, bro. We gotta get you back on here, man. I definitely want to talk some more about the laws. Last thing I want to ask you before we get out, she gone. She gone already. Look at that. She done hit the button and everything. I'm about to ask her one more question. We'll talk to her. We'll talk to her soon. We'll have her back on here. Um, the last question I want to leave with everyone who's watching, man. I honestly believe that the family law system and the way the laws are interpreted are going to change. I think the change, we're going to start noticing the change over the next 5 to 10 years. You look at Florida, the forever alimony is a thing of the past. Default 50-50 custody is the law of the land here in Florida. They're talking about in other states mandatory DNA testing. What do you guys think about that? I honestly believe it's going to be a change. And yeah, brother Shaw, like, heck yeah, nah, bro, I'm gonna hit you up, man. We gotta do another show. We gotta do another show, man. I want to talk about that. Also, I want to encourage, not just because it's a election year, but I want to encourage all the men and women who are listening to this, listening to my voice, who might be watching this in team replay. I want to encourage each and every one of y'all to get involved politically. I was watching an episode of The Breakfast Club. They had Fat Joe on there, a hip hop, legend, the man. And he's politically active in his own way and making things happen and doing good things. He's really working on some bipartisan things to make changes in hospitals with the way that they bill us. What he's doing is actually amazing. I want everyone who can hear my voice to begin to consider to get involved politically. It starts locally. Get involved with your school board, get involved with whoever is your mayor, your city council. You don't even just go to a couple events, shake some hands, get to know some people, send an email, make some connections, make a change locally. Get involved politically. Don't let what's going on nationally turn you off on our system. A lot of great Americans put it all on the line so we can have this country, as fucked up as it is, it's ours. And as far as I've seen, this is the best country on the planet still, in my opinion. Still the best. You know what I mean? So get involved, y'all. Please, please, please get involved, y'all. Brother Mandrell, it should be mandatory nationwide. I think he's talking about the DNA testing. I really like the default 50-50 custody. I think that should be the law of the land. Brother Pitney, mandatory paternity testing, regardless of marital status, should have been a thing 10 years ago. The government's behind the 8 ball, absolutely. And that is the state government. Remember, the state covers that. The federal government, they'll be the last ones to get on board. We can make a change at the state level, wherever you are, what state you're in, make the change. If you're in Australia, Canada, I'm sorry, I don't know what to tell you. And your brother Smeagol, he's like, fix your backyard before you start cleaning your streets. Facts, man. So we're going to leave it there. I appreciate y'all rocking out with me on a late night edition, man. Just me popping up. And again, watch the subscriber count drop, y'all. I'm telling you this. I'm not getting any negative comments. I don't have people calling me all kind of names, telling me they're going to unsubscribe. It's just over the past 12 hours or so, about a little over 100 subscribers, man, gone. And the number is still falling. I think YouTube doesn't like me or what I'm talking about, but it doesn't matter. We're gonna keep doing this. We're gonna keep talking about it. If I get demonetized, so what? I'm not making a ton of money anyway. I don't care. We're gonna keep putting the stuff out. We'll go to whatever platform we need to go to. We'll keep expanding. We'll keep talking to people like Not Your Everyday Ashley. You know what I mean? Brother Shaw, we got Mandrell. I gotta get Mandrell on here. I want to talk to him about something. I'm gonna hit you up, Mandrell. I got an idea. And Brother Smeagol's brother Pitney. We had who else was in here tonight? I know I'm missing up. Casual Journey was in here tonight. I knew I was missing somebody. You know what I mean? So we're gonna keep doing what we're doing. I appreciate y'all. I really do. We're gonna keep rocking this out, gentlemen and ladies. Ashley, if you still listening, yo, hit me up. I'll see you Thursday. Let's make that happen. Thursday night. Open mic at the Funny Bone, formerly known as the Improv in Ybor. It's gonna be fine. It's open mic. It's open mic night. So you can go up there and do your comedy. I think they give you 5 minutes. We'll see how it goes. Brother Mandrell, 50-50 custody and mandatory DNA test nationwide. Hey, man, let's start at the state level first. But let's do that, y'all. Let's hold each other accountable. Let's get out here. Let's get involved in the political system instead of just sitting around here crying, complaining, making noise, talking shit, not doing nothing about it. Let's actually do something about it. I'm going to try to talk about that once a month, see what we're doing out here, in these states to make a change. I'm DL Saint. This is I Really Want to Know podcast, man. I appreciate y'all. Get some rest. I'll talk to y'all tomorrow. Peace.
Nothing like I've ever seen. It's just a thing of beauty.
Darn, that's the end.